Chapter 426 High Priest, Mers, you are level 67? Oh, Mers, your level has increased a lot. The High Priest suddenly looked at Mels, his tone was gentle and he smiled. Yes, High Priest. Mels bowed and saluted with a respectful attitude. Hey? Mels, what's your level? Buyer stroked her long hair, stared with a pair of beautiful big eyes, and asked in surprise. This just reached level 67. Mels smiled and lowered his head a little embarrassedly. Hearing Mel's words, many angels present showed a little surprise on their faces. It's really amazing. Mels. The High Priest immediately praised. Level 67. I remember you were level 52 before. How did you improve so much all of a sudden? Buyer exclaimed, in disbelief. The other angels at the scene also looked at Mels curiously. This level is considered a relatively high existence even among formal angels. I didn't expect Mels to reach level 67 so quickly. He is really amazing. Thanks to Luo Tian's help, I was able to improve so quickly. Mels told the truth and explained. Mels? Great, you are still alive, I didn't see you just now. Sun Wukong also looked at Mels in surprise and joy. Mels nodded to Sun Wukong, and then explained to the many angels present, my body has been reshaped. The many angels present also realized it one by one, and felt extremely shocked at the same time. The most surprised one among them was Buyer. Your body has been reshaped, you really dare to play. Buyer was stunned, that kind of thing it is easy to disappear completely if you are not careful. I believe in Luo Tian. I believe that with him, I will succeed. Mel's eyes were full of it is trust. Congratulations, Myers. The High Priest smiled slightly. Myers saluted again. Buyer looked at Luo Tian, then at Myers, and suddenly felt as if she had really become a trainee angel at the bottom. Luo Tian, please take some time to reshape my body. Buyer bit her lip and looked at Luo Tian pitifully. Okay, I have to think about whether there is any other way to reshape your body. Luo Tian looked at Buyer deeply and pondered. Mr. Weimei. The High Priest turned his head and looked at Weimei, the god of destruction of the 11th universe. Weimei knelt even lower and quickly responded respectfully. Who is the one behind you? The High Priest looked at Topo behind Weimei. His name is Topo. Weimei introduced, actually, I am considering retiring soon. He is the next candidate for the God of Destruction and is receiving training. So I brought him here to broaden his horizons. I am Topo. I am meeting the High Priest. Topo quietly wiped his sweat. Didn't the High Priest see me when I was running for the God of Destruction? Forgot me so quickly? Sure enough, except for the first place, no one else has a sense of existence. It's really sad. So that's the case. Then please work hard and strive to become a true God of Destruction. The High Priest smiled. Yes, Topo knelt down again. High Priest, we are ready. The Angel Koran of the 8th universe contacted the High Priest through the scepter. Then please come over. The High Priest said, and with a light wave of his hand, he directly summoned the angels, gods of destruction and king of the 8th universe. When the Kaishan of the 8th universe saw the surrounding scene clearly, he was shocked and hurriedly pulled up his pants. He felt like he was about to die. Now that everyone is here, let's start announcing the announcement from the Omni King. The High Priest stood in front of the two Omni Kings with his hands behind his back and announced with a smile. The scene was unusually quiet, and everyone pricked up their ears, wanting to know what was going on. It happened suddenly. From now on, after 5 kikes, a large-scale martial arts competition called the Power Conference will be held. Players selected from each universe will compete in strength and martial arts. The High Priest announced. After hearing the news, the gods at the scene were all stunned and at a loss for a while. While talking, the High Priest suddenly heard the two Omni Kings whispering behind him, and hurriedly asked respectfully what happened. I said this, he doesn't understand what's going on? The Omni King pointed to the future Omni King. Are you talking about the power conference? The high priest was stunned. The Omni King nodded. The future Omni King nodded in unison. That's right, the Omni King from the future has never seen the match between the 7th and 6th universes. The high priest groaned, pinched his chin and thought for a while, then looked at Luo Tian. Luo Tian, what are you looking at me for? Luo Tian, you hosted the match between the 7th and 6th universes last time. The high priest said to Luo Tian, now you host a match for the Omni King. Then let's have a battle of gods of destruction. Luo Tian smiled, a match between gods of destruction. The two Omni Kings nodded excitedly. Turn this place into a ring first. Luo Tian said, pointing the scepter in his hand in the air. Swish! In just a moment, a large square ring appeared on the scene. And above these rings appeared a number of gyroscope-shaped platforms. Luo Tian distributed the gods of each universe on these gyroscope-shaped platforms. Luo Tian, Mers, Bayer, Broly and Bu were on a separate platform, and the rest were arranged according to the universe. The two kings were located in the most central position, with the throne on top, so they could watch their game. Hey! I was thrown here? Sun Wukong was stunned and found that he was thrown on the stands of the 6th universe. Sun Wukong! You guy! What did you do? Xiangpa asked angrily. I didn't do anything. Sun Wukong scratched his head innocently. Now, please invite all the gods of destruction to the ring. Luo Tian announced to the gods on the scene with a smile. Broly saluted quickly. Then, Broly grabbed Bu who was still sleeping without any hesitation and brought him to the ring. Wait a minute, a battle of the gods of destruction? Is it related to the power conference? Do even the gods of destruction have to participate in the power conference? Gervis asked hurriedly. After all, you are also residents of various universes, and it is natural for you to participate in the war as representatives. Luo Tian said with a smile. The many gods of destruction present were also stunned. A battle between gods of destruction? In this case, I'm afraid the situation is a bit bad. The many gods of destruction present discussed. Chapter 427 The Battle of Gods of Destruction begins. That's because Lord Xiangpa was lazy. Bardos said with a smile. It doesn't matter, Lord Xiangpa, didn't you fight against me and Vegeta? Sun Wukong laughed. What are you two? It's not worth my full strength at all. Xiangpa's face turned black. Come down quickly. Broly said loudly from below. Yes. Great God of Destruction. The many gods of destruction at the scene immediately jumped down from the stands and landed on the four-sided ring. Even Xiao Ai appeared directly beside Broly. Pa! Xiao Ai's figure changed and turned into a beautiful woman in armor. Lord Luo Tian, what rules should we follow to fight? Quitla looked up and asked. We will consider the rules of the power conference after watching this game, so please fight to your heart's content. Luo Tian said with a smile, by the way, the basic rule is that falling out of the ring is considered elimination. Yes, that's right. By the way, it is worth mentioning that if a god of destruction lets go, he will be eliminated on the spot. The high priest added. After hearing the words of the high priest, the many gods of destruction at the scene were all shocked and their faces became solemn. High priest, in fact, this conference is just a chance to test Broly's strength. Luo Tian looked at the high priest. It is said that the Lord of Time and Space Destroyer plans to retire, and I plan to train Broly to be the new god of Time and Space Destroyer. So, what you mean is the high priest asked. All the gods of destruction challenge Broly together. Luo Tian replied. Okay. The high priest nodded. The many gods of destruction present also immediately looked at Broly, their expressions becoming more and more solemn. Do you want to challenge the great god of destruction together? He is the great god of destruction, much stronger than us. But there were not so many gods of destruction challenging the great god of destruction together back then. Did you hear it? Luo Tian intends to train the great god of destruction to become the god of destruction of space and time. That is the most powerful god of destruction in the entire space and time. The little god of destruction is still sleeping there. Isn't he going to participate in the competition? Xiang Pa asked. Let him sleep. Luo Tian smiled. The many gods of destruction present were also speechless. The little god of destruction fell asleep. If the little god of destruction was still awake, we might still have a chance of winning. Then, the battle of the gods of destruction begins. Luo Tian announced loudly, for the future of our space and time, please don't let up, and fight with all your strength. Yes. The many gods of destruction present answered in unison. The next moment, the many gods of destruction no longer hesitated and rushed towards the direction where Broly was. Boom! Broly did not hesitate at all, and a dark green light immediately burst out from his body. At the same time, Broly's hair grew rapidly backwards, and his hair was longer than his waist. The legendary Super Saiyan 3. Pa! Broly dodged the fist that was attacking him, and slapped him with a palm, directly knocking him backwards. Bang bang bang! Broly punched and kicked the several gods of destruction who rushed up again. Suddenly, the gods of destruction at the scene also let out painful howls one by one. But soon, many gods of destruction gathered together again and rushed towards Broly in a surrounding situation. Broly immediately looked around and kicked hard. Bang bang bang! Broly stepped directly on the feet of many gods of destruction at the scene. Ah! The many gods of destruction at the scene screamed, and their feet were flattened. Of course, Broly took special care of Xiao Ai and did not deliberately target her. Except for Xiao Ai, all other gods of destruction were not spared. Even Bardock's toes were flattened by Broly. The gods of destruction at the scene were in pain, jumping around on one leg on the ring. Bang! 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 Broly kicked these gods of destruction one by one into the air. Suddenly, these gods of destruction at the scene flew back and forth in the air like dumplings. Swish! Broly soared into the sky and whizzed towards Beerus. Beerus reacted very quickly and adjusted his body immediately, trying to resist Broly's attack. However, Broly was faster, and stepped forward to hold Beerus' head, and directly hit Quidara. Puff! Beerus and Quidara collided with each other, and the two gods of destruction felt as if their bodies were falling apart. Bang! Broly used a hook to kick Quidla from the air. Then, Broly grabbed Beerus' tail and used his body as a weapon to attack the god of destruction. Soon, these gods of destruction were beaten and fled in panic. Less than 30 seconds had passed since the start of the game. All the gods of destruction except Xiao Ai were knocked to the ground, including Bardock. Broly looked at Xiao Ai. Xiao Ai automatically lay back and fell to the ground. The other gods of destruction were speechless when they saw this. Aren't you letting him win? Why didn't the high priest clean you up? So, where is fairness? Several gods of destruction complained in their hearts. However, being able to become gods of destruction, the gods all knew very well that there was no fairness in these universes. Where is absolute fairness? Stay away from him! Beerus shouted. The many gods of destruction immediately distanced themselves from view. I'm going to launch a second round of attack. Broly looked at the many gods of destruction present. Be careful. The many gods of destruction present perked up again and raised their vigilance. On the stands, the two Omni-Kings were also dancing with joy. Chapter 428 New Space-Time King God? Belsi? Yes, Broly has trained you very well. The High Priest appeared beside Luo Tian and smiled at him. Thank you for the compliment. Luo Tian bowed. However, just for this point alone, you are still a long way from becoming a true space-time destroyer. The High Priest then shook his head gently. Mr. Broly is only level 59 now, right? Not yet level 60. Yes. Luo Tian hesitated for a moment and nodded. Mels and Bayer also stepped forward and saluted immediately. You two go somewhere else first, I will talk to Luo Tian alone. The high priest told Mels and Bayer. Mels and Bayer saluted again and left the stand. It is said that a very powerful god of destruction has been born in a certain time and space, which should be stronger than Broly now. The high priest sighed. Is there such a thing? What level has the god of destruction in that time and space reached? Luo Tian was stunned. According to our level classification, his level has reached at least level 86. The high priest said to Luo Tian. Luo Tian, the god you are talking about is not me, right? Luo Tian didn't know how to respond. I am an angel, I am not a god of destruction. No, of course not you. The high priest shook his head. I am talking about the god of destruction in another time and space. Is it the god of destruction in 12 universes? Luo Tian asked again. No, it's a god of destruction born in a new universe. The high priest replied. Luo Tian was stunned. You should be familiar with this universe. The high priest said again. Oh? Familiar? What do you mean? Luo Tian asked curiously. The prototype of this new universe is the GT space-time of the 7th universe. The high priest added. GT? Luo Tian was more and more surprised. Isn't there no god of destruction in this space-time? In that special space-time, such a new god of destruction was born. The high priest smiled. So what you mean by this is Luo Tian pondered, Broly has no hope. Let's talk about Broly's hopelessness later. The problem is, if you, the future angel of space-time, are not as powerful as the god of space-time destruction, it would be embarrassing. The high priest looked at Luo Tian with a smile. Luo Tian, what you said makes sense, I don't know how to refute it. Luo Tian sighed, I didn't expect that his level is the same as mine. It's amazing. When I have time to travel through time and space, I will have a good fight with him. The high priest said no more. Luo Tian also focused his attention on the ring. The battle between Broly and other gods of destruction continued. Seeing Broly perform so well, Luo Tian sighed and felt a little uncomfortable. If Broly knew that there were such outstanding gods of destruction in other times, I don't know what he would think. It's really annoying to compare with others. Originally, Broly was already a very outstanding god of destruction in our time and space. But in another time and space, there appeared a god of destruction who was even better than him. I can only train him well, and I hope he will have a higher improvement. Luo Tian sighed. I hope so, maybe he will suddenly open up and it is possible to improve his level. The high priest nodded, but did not attack Luo Tian. At this time, Broly had an absolute advantage and beat the gods of destruction. The only one who could fight Broly here, besides Beerus, was Quitella. The two of them joined forces, and with the assistance of other gods of destruction, they could barely withstand Broly's attack. By the way, High Priest. Luo Tian suddenly asked, does the Space-Time King God exist? The Space-Time King God is Lord Kane. The High Priest replied, but I heard that Lord Kane disappeared and has not been found until now. Missing? Luo Tian had heard of Kane, but he didn't know she was actually missing. I heard that she was involved in a space-time rift and hasn't appeared for a long time. The High Priest explained. Luo Tian, no space-time realm king god was involved in a space-time rift? Is this possible? Luo Tian was speechless. Too normal. The High Priest sighed, it is mainly because Lord Kane, the space-time realm king god, is weak, which led to this situation. Therefore, Lord Space-Time Destroyer God should plan to choose a space-time realm king god before retiring. Does our space-time have a suitable candidate? Luo Tian asked. At present, there is no suitable one. The High Priest shook his head. What about other space-times? Luo Tian asked again. It is said that in a certain space-time, a thriving realm king god appeared. The high priest put his hands behind his back and looked at the ring below. Forget it, I'm not interested in the space-time king god or anything like that. Luo Tian shook his head. He just asked casually. This king god is called Belsi, and he is also a Saiyan. The high priest continued. Oh? Also a Saiyan? Luo Tian smiled and asked curiously, then, what about the alternate space-time destroyer god? Who is he? Isn't he also a Saiyan? No. The high priest shook his head. If he's not a Saiyan, then who would he be? Luo Tian immediately became interested. I'm not sure about the details. I don't know much about that space-time. The high priest replied, the purpose of saying this is to make you practice well and upgrade your level as soon as possible. Don't let the alternate space-time destroyer god surpass you. Luo Tian, you should know that our angels have always been stronger than the destroyer god. The high priest stepped forward and patted Luo Tian on the shoulder. You put a lot of pressure on me. I wanted to lie down for a while. Luo Tian sighed. From the moment you seal the little witch into your body, don't even think about lying down. The high priest said with a smile. Luo Tian stopped talking. Because what the high priest said was so right. Luo Tian thought carefully, sometimes he was really tired. I have already traveled to the Dragon Ball world, but I didn't expect to still fight so hard. First I fought to become an angel. When I became an angel, I wanted to upgrade my level. My level has already gone up, and I have become an angel second only to the high priest. But I still want to challenge a higher level. Is it only possible to achieve great perfection after practicing to level 100? When I level up a few more, I will go meet the alternate god of space destruction. Luo Tian thought for a moment, and smiled at the high priest. While I am ahead of him in level, I will go over and give him a good beating. This is a good idea. The high priest nodded thoughtfully, and added, I think he thinks so too, and is working hard to practice, wanting to surpass you as soon as possible. Luo Tian, it seems that I have to practice hard. This is fucking chapter 429. Beerus and Quitla merge on the ring. Broly's battle with many gods of destruction continues. As time goes by, more and more gods of destruction are knocked off the ring by Broly. Only Beerus and Quitla are still struggling to hold on. In addition, the four gods of destruction, Waimei, Rumsey, Helis, and Legere, are still in the stands. The scene was filled with smoke, and the fight was extremely fierce. At this time, Beerus and Quitla were the main forces, attracting Broly's attack. Wide waited for the four gods of destruction to conduct long-range harassment from the periphery. Watch me! Wide crossed his arms, and suddenly 8 flashing energy pieces appeared in his hands. Swish, swish, swish. Wide threw the 8 flashing energy pieces in the direction of Broly. Broly saw it, without any panic, and immediately put up a protective shield on his body to block the attack of the energy pieces. Legere was not idle either, and the tails behind him suddenly turned into 9. Bang, bang, bang. Then, Legere's 9 tails fired flashing energy bombs like machine guns. All the energy bombs were directed at Broly. Broly held up the protective shield to resist. Buzz! Suddenly, Rumsey roared, and the invisible energy wave covered Broly's body. I'll do it! Helis drew his bow and arrow, and shot an arrow fiercely. Crack! The shield released by Broly had cracks. Even the arrow had penetrated the shield and entered the inside of the shield. However, when the arrow entered the shield, it seemed to have completed its final mission and was finally blocked by Broly. Bang! Beerus quickly punched and hit Broly's face hard. Broly slapped back and hit Beerus in the chest, knocking Beerus back. Fortunately, Quitla rushed forward and caught Beerus. 6 destroyer gods panting heavily, feeling exhausted. Broly rushed up quickly, grabbed Beerus' head and slammed it to the ground. Bang! Beerus' head came into close contact with the ground of the ring. Then, Broly pressed Beerus' head and rubbed it on the ground frantically. Beerus screamed in pain. The other 5 gods of destruction immediately attacked Broly. Broly responded calmly. High Priest, can these gods of destruction be improved? Luo Tian turned his head and asked the High Priest beside him. There is a way. The High Priest nodded, raised his hand lightly, and a pair of earrings immediately appeared in his hand. Luo Tian looked closely and suddenly found that it was a pair of Potara earrings. But this pair of Potara earrings are all gold. Isn't this Potara earrings? Luo Tian asked. This is called the Super Potara earring. The High Priest smiled. In principle, the god of destruction cannot be combined through the Potara earring, because the Potara earring cannot withstand their powerful energy. But there is no big problem with the Super Potara earring. Give this to Beerus and Quitera, and let them combine. Luo Tian suggested. Are you sure? If Beerus and Quitera combine, their levels will reach at least level 60. The High Priest smiled. Broly may lose miserably if he does that. Only in this way can Broly be better promoted. Luo Tian smiled. Okay then. The High Priest threw the earrings directly to the ring without hesitation. Swish! 2 Potara earrings appeared next to Beerus and Quitera respectively. Beerus and Quitera were both stunned, and immediately looked at the Potara earrings that appeared in front of them. Broly was also slightly sluggish, and turned his head to look in the direction of Luo Tian. Luo Tian nodded slightly to Broly. Broly understood what Luo Tian meant, and his expression became extremely solemn. Beerus, Quitla, that's the Potara earring, you two should merge. The High Priest ordered the 2 gods of destruction. Beerus and Quitla immediately looked at each other and took the earrings. However, both of them were a little reluctant. After all, Beerus and Quitla had long disliked each other. If it weren't for Luo Tian's order this time, the 2 of them would never join forces to fight Broly. High Priest, is there a time limit for this fusion? Quitla looked up and asked respectfully. Beerus also looked at the High Priest with doubt. If there is no time limit, it would be a tragedy. I don't want to merge with a mouse. The fusion time is 30 minutes. The High Priest gave the answer calmly. Beerus and Quitla were slightly relieved. As long as there is a time limit, it's fine. At least they can separate after merging. The 2 of them no longer hesitated and put the earrings on their ears. When the earrings were put on their ears, Beerus and Quitla's bodies quickly moved together uncontrollably. Snap! The 2 bodies merged together, and a dazzling light burst out from their bodies. The powerful destructive energy surged wildly around the 2 of them, setting off layers of turbulent storms. Broly clenched his fists tightly, his expression becoming more and more serious. The next moment, a monster that looked like both a mouse and a cat was born. The fusion of Beerus and Quitla, let's call it Betra. The fused god of destruction looked at Broly with a smile. What a joke! Beerus and Quitla merged? Helios was shocked. This seems to be the Super Portra earrings, given to them by the High Priest. Ramsey explained on the side. This should be able to defeat the great god of destruction, right? May pondered. I don't know. Legere shook his head. Humph. Betra looked around the scene with a smile, and looked at the 4 gods of destruction floating in the air, with contempt in his eyes. Rumsey and others were slightly startled. What is that look? Are you looking down on us? Swish. In just a moment, Betra appeared in the center of where Rumsey and the other 4 were. Broly looked up at Betra, his expression becoming more solemn. This guy is so fast. There is no need for you to stay here. Betra snorted coldly, and suddenly waved his hand violently. Powerful energy surged wildly from Betra's hands, directly acting on the 4 gods of destruction in the sky. Accompanied by a series of loud noises, the 4 gods of destruction were immediately knocked back. Bang, bang, bang. In just a blink of an eye, 4 people including Rumsey fell out of the ring and landed on the ground outside the ring, being eliminated. Chapter 430 If I defeat you, I will be the Great Destroyer. What does this guy want to do? We are your teammates. Waimei shouted angrily. Do you want to fight against the Great Destroyer by yourself? Helis asked. That's enough. We are not in your way. Legere kept rolling his eyes. Humph, if you stay here, it will probably affect my performance, so I have to eliminate you. Bitra smiled and looked at the 4 eliminated destroyers. 4 useless trash, you have been fighting for so long and nothing happened. I have to decide the winner with Broly. Waimei and others were so angry that they glared at him. This guy is too arrogant. It's as if you have decided the winner with the Great Destroyer. Next, let me deal with Broly. Bitra said confidently, if I defeat him, I will be the new Great Destroyer. After saying that, Bitra fell rapidly from the air and appeared in front of Broly. Broly didn't speak. Broly, come on, let me show you what a real Great Destroyer is. Bitra smiled, and a wicked arc appeared at the corner of his mouth. Broly took a fighting stance. Bang! Bitra attacked quickly, and hit Broly with a heavy punch. Broly raised his hand to catch Bitra's fist, and pushed his knee upwards, hitting the opponent's abdomen. Bitra quickly stretched out his hand to block, and caught Broly's attacking knee with his own hand. Bang bang bang! The two quickly started a fierce battle on the ring. About 10 seconds passed. Bitra suddenly appeared behind Broly, kicked over, and hit Broly's lower back on the spot. Broly threw himself forward and immediately rolled over, then stabilized his body and landed steadily with both feet. Not bad, worthy of being Broly. Bitra looked at Broly with a smile, quite quick reaction. Broly shouted, rushed towards Bitra's position, and pressed on his forehead. Bitra leaned back, dodged Broly's attack, and hit Broly's chest with an uppercut. Puff! Broly spit out a large mouthful of acid. Bitra quickly retreated and kept a distance from Broly. I already know your moves, and your move is useless to me. Do you want to rub my head on the ground? You are too naive. Bitra laughed. Swish! While laughing, Bitra suddenly felt that something was wrong, and his smile faded for a moment. Because Bitra found that Broly's figure seemed to become illusory. Bitra had a bad feeling in his heart. Sure enough, Broly soon appeared behind Bitra and slashed at him. Bitra's reaction was also very fast. He bent down to avoid Broly's attack and kicked backwards. Broly leaned back to avoid Bitra's attack, and swept his leg to the ground. Pa! Broly rushed forward quickly, grabbed Bitra's head, and began to rub it frantically on the ground. Bitra screamed in pain, gritted his teeth, and swung a powerful punch, hitting Broly hard. Broly bared his teeth slightly, and the intensity of the friction gradually increased. Bitra let out painful wails again, feeling as if his head was flattened. Bang bang bang! Bitra punched Broly in the chest one by one. Broly was unaware of it, and still rubbed Bitra's head on the ground. Bang! Then, Broly delivered a fierce blow, hitting Bitra's chest heavily. Puff! Bitra spit out a large mouthful of acid water. Broly took the opportunity to grab Bitra's arm, dragged his body, and threw him back and forth. Bitra screamed in pain. After more than 10 seconds, Broly casually knocked Bitra to the ground. Bitra fell to the ground and seemed motionless. The many gods of destruction present were stunned. Did you lose? Rumsey widened his eyes. Even the combined gods of destruction are not the opponent of the great god of destruction? Helis was shocked. No, I don't think I've lost yet. Legere pondered. The Omni King clapped his hands happily. The battle just now was really fierce. It's good looking. The Omni King grinned and turned to look at his future self. Isn't it interesting? Yes, it's very interesting. The future Omni King nodded. It's a pity that there has never been a similar competition in my time and space. You can't go back to your time and space, it has been destroyed. The Omni King said. Yes, it was restored by Luo Tian. The future Omni King grinned. It seems that the two Omni Kings are very happy to see it. The High Priest said to Luo Tian with a smile. It's good to be happy. Luo Tian smiled. However, the god of destruction after the fusion is not only this degree. The High Priest smiled mysteriously, and a faint arc appeared at the corner of his mouth. I can see that Bitra is pretending. Luo Tian said with a smile. Yes. The High Priest tapped his forehead. On the ring. Bitra suddenly jumped up, patted the dust off his body, and stared at Broly opposite with a fighting look. Broly seemed to have known that the other party was not seriously injured, and his face became more solemn, and he took a fighting stance again. The attack just now was good, but unfortunately, I haven't used my full strength yet. Bitra said with a smile. Boom! Broly, without saying any more nonsense, a dark green light appeared on his body again, and lightning wrapped around his body. Next, let me play with you. Bitra smiled. Boom! The next moment, purple-red flames suddenly appeared on Bitra's body, increasing his destructive energy to the extreme. Many gods of destruction at the scene were shocked for a short time after seeing such a scene, and they pointed at Bitra one after another. How can this guy be so pretentious? If such a guy really becomes our leader, I don't know what tragedy will happen. Bang bang bang! Bitra is worthy of being the fusion of Beerus and Quitra. After showing his true power, he immediately launched a fierce attack on Broly. For a while, Broly was beaten and unable to resist, and kept retreating backwards. What's up? Broly. Aren't you called the Great Destroyer? You can't even beat me, so what kind of Great Destroyer is it? Bitra attacked Broly, and his mouth was not idle. Bang! Bitra punched Broly in the face with a heavy punch. Broly was almost knocked to the ground. Then, Bitra kicked Broly in the abdomen. Broly grimaced in pain, his feet rubbing against the ground of the ring, leaving 2 long marks on the ground. Then, Broly looked back and found that he had appeared on the edge of the ring. Chapter 431 Broly, I am also level 60. Hehe, Broly, admit defeat as soon as possible. It's better to jump off the ring by yourself than to be beaten out by me. Bitra smiled triumphantly. Really? Broly took a deep breath. Boom! The next moment, Broly's body once again surged with huge energy. The dark green flames surged wildly around Broly. Oh! The High Priest was a little surprised and couldn't help but take a deep look at Broly. Are you surprised? Luo Tian said with a smile. The High Priest, I didn't expect Broly to hide his strength. If I didn't look carefully, even I couldn't see it. The High Priest smiled. Broly is also level 60. Not much different from Bitra's level. Luo Tian grinned. I can't believe it. It seems that Broly is also working hard to practice. The High Priest nodded. The many gods of destruction present also heard Luo Tian's voice and were shocked. The other gods also showed a look of astonishment. I didn't expect Broly to be level 60. I originally thought that level 59 was the peak state of the gods of destruction. There are really gods of destruction who have broken through to level 60. Level 60, that is the level that only angels can have. I didn't show my true strength either. Broly smiled indifferently. Bitra's face suddenly became ugly. Bang bang bang! Broly and Bitra started a fierce confrontation again. For a while, the ring was filled with smoke. The two fought for nearly half an hour. At least it seemed that it would be difficult to determine the winner in the short term. After all, the levels of the two were almost the same. In addition, the fusion of Beerus and Quitra also brought Bitra a wealth of combat experience. It can even be said that Broly is far inferior to Bitra in terms of combat experience. However, Broly relied on his strong fighting will to avoid being defeated by the opponent, and even suppressed the opponent. The fusion time is coming soon. The Omni King suddenly said. Broly is going to win. The future Omni King nodded. I'm going to win. The Omni King followed. The battle on the ring continued. Just then, Bu, who had been sleeping on the ground, suddenly stretched out his hand and grabbed Beatra's ankle. Beatra, ya let me go. Beatra looked down at Bu, only to find that the guy was still sleeping, and even blew a bubble in his nose while sleeping. Beatra felt bad at that time. Broly clenched his fist, gathered energy, and planned to give Beatra a heavy blow. However, after seeing the situation at the scene, Broly did not take the opportunity to hit Beatra hard, but slowly stopped. Let me go. You fat guy. Beatra was furious and stomped on Bu's head. Instantly, Bu's head was stomped into a meat pie by Beatra. However, Bu's hand still tightly grasped Beatra's ankle, and he had no intention of letting go. Asshole! Let me go! A sword-like flame flashed in Beatra's hand and slashed it at once. Swish! The flame was extremely sharp and directly cut off Bu's arm. Bu seemed to feel the pain, and he jumped up from the ground as if he was resurrected from the dead. His two round eyes suddenly floated up and became bright. Bu looked around, confused. Where am I? Why am I here? Hey? Where is my head? Bu immediately restored his head and arms through regeneration, and put his eyes back into his eye sockets. Then, Bu looked around again, and when he saw the king of all, he was so scared that his body changed color. He rushed over and knelt down in front of the king of all. Kneeling non-stop. Omni King, go ahead, go ahead. Omni King didn't make things difficult for Bu this time. Bu's hanging heart was finally put down, and he quickly came to Luo Tian's side, grinning at him. Then, Bu looked at the ring, saw Broly and Beatra, and couldn't help scratching his head. Who is that guy who looks like a mouse and a cat? Beatra let out a long breath. Fortunately, Bu left the ring, otherwise if he knew that I had crushed his head, he and Broly would join forces, and I would probably lose miserably. Go on. Broly said lightly. Of course. Of course we have to continue. The winner hasn't been decided yet. Beatra nodded with a smile. But, your time to merge is coming soon, right? Broly looked at Beatra. Beatra's heart tightened, and his face changed slightly. Beatra knew clearly that the time for his fusion was really coming. Before the fusion time ends, I must defeat you. Beatra shouted and rushed towards Broly's position. Bang! The two fists collided with each other, bursting out huge energy. Bang bang bang! The two once again started a fierce battle on the ring. Fighting for a while. Pa! Beatra's body split into two, becoming Beerus and Quitla. The two stared at each other, their faces instantly became extremely ugly, and their eyes were full of fear. The two mechanically turned their heads and looked at Broly on the opposite side, trembling with fear. Pa! Beerus and Quitla knelt down together. Even if they merged, they were not his opponent, so they should not seek abuse. Continuing to seek abuse will only make them suffer more miserably. Lord Great Destroyer, we lost. Beerus and Quitla said in unison. Broly looked at the two without expression and said nothing. The many gods of destruction present were also stunned. The two strongest gods of destruction combined, but they were still no match for the great god of destruction. Luo Tian, what do you think? The high priest asked Luo Tian with a smile. What do you mean? Luo Tian asked. I'm talking about the power conference. Do you have any better ideas through this battle of gods of destruction? The high priest said with a smile. I think it's better not to let the gods of destruction participate in the power conference. Luo Tian pondered, if they are allowed to participate in the battle with humans, they can easily defeat all humans in a universe with their strength. You're right, keep talking. The high priest nodded. What do the two Omni Kings think? Luo Tian turned his head and looked at the two Omni Kings on the throne. You tell me your proposal first, and I'll convey it to the Omni Kings. The high priest said calmly. Let the Lord of the Omni watch the match between the quasi-gods again, and then tell us the rules of the Tournament of Power. Luo Tian suddenly said. Chapter 432 The Lord of the Omni, 7 Transformations? Isn't there Son Goku, the trainee king of the worlds, at the scene? In addition, there is also a trainee god of destruction named Toppo. Luo Tian's eyes swept over Son Goku and Toppo at the scene. Do you want to let them compete? Asked the high priest. You can let them try and have a preliminary battle. Luo Tian nodded. Besides, a long time ago, Son Goku and the man named Jiren had an agreement to compete, and this tournament of power just lets them decide the winner. You still remember this? The high priest smiled. I'm thinking about the black and gold scepter of the high priest. Luo Tian grinned. High priest, I didn't say I'd give you the black and gold scepter. The high priest's face darkened. I was talking about the silver-white scepter. Well, it doesn't matter anymore. Luo Tian waved his hand casually. The high priest was speechless. How come it is not important? This is obviously very important. I will discuss it with the Lord of the Omni. After the high priest finished speaking, he flew directly to the Lord of the Omni and told him about the match between Sun Wukong and Toppo. Let Wukong compete with another person? The Lord of the Omni immediately perked up. I want to watch it too. The future Lord of the Omni was very excited. Okay, that's it. The high priest put his hands behind his back and nodded gently at Luo Tian in the distance. Luo Tian understood and immediately looked in the direction of Sun Wukong. At this time, many gods of destruction had returned to the platforms belonging to their respective universes and gathered together to discuss in a low voice. No one knew what would happen next. But I always felt a bad premonition. Wukong. Luo Tian spoke. Here. Sun Wukong waved his hand. Fight Toppo from the 11th universe for the Lord of all. Luo Tian ordered. Okay, no problem. Sun Wukong had been rubbing his hands, showing his anticipation and excitement. Hearing Luo Tian's words, Sun Wukong landed on the ring without any hesitation. Toppo. Luo Tian looked in the direction of Toppo again. Go. Toppo looked at Luo Tian deeply. I didn't expect this guy to have become such a powerful god. Did he train that Sun Wukong? Broly was also trained by him back then. Toppo, I heard that the other party is just an intern Kaishin, and you are an intern god of destruction, so don't embarrass us gods of destruction. Waimei said to Toppo. I know, Lord Waimei. Toppo nodded solemnly, without any hesitation, and immediately flew down and landed on the ring. Then, referring to the battle between the gods of destruction just now, we need to add some restrictions. Luo Tian floated near the two of them and said lightly, in order to make the game more exciting, this game is prohibited from flying into the air, using weapons, and killing opponents. Falling off the ring is still considered a loss. The high priest was silent on the side. This kid said what I wanted to say. Hey? Can't fly? Sun Wukong was stunned. That's right. Luo Tian nodded. Okay, there's nothing I can do, but this way the other party can't fly either. Sun Wukong stopped worrying about this problem. Toppo, who gave you the confidence? Let's do this for now, get ready and start. Luo Tian said, and he had already flown high into the sky and left the ring. Hey, you. Toppo looked at Sun Wukong and greeted him. What? Sun Wukong replied. Just now I heard that you are an intern Kaishin? Toppo said with a smile. Yes, you are an intern god of destruction, right? Sun Wukong nodded. Yes. Toppo replied. You are indeed like other gods. I can't sense your aura, but I can sense your divine power. Sun Wukong looked at Toppo with a smile on his face. Do you know how big the gap is between an intern Kaishin and an intern god of destruction? Toppo snorted coldly and said to Sun Wukong indifferently. I don't know, is there such a setting? Sun Wukong was stunned. You'll know soon. Topo's face showed endless confidence. Then, the game begins. Luo Tian announced loudly. Sun Wukong immediately took a fighting stance. Topo didn't dare to be careless and was ready for the battle. Ha! Sun Wukong's body was shining with golden light, and he immediately turned into a Super Saiyan. Then, I'll start first. Sun Wukong smiled and looked at Topo with a fighting spirit. Come on. Topo stared at Sun Wukong closely. Sun Wukong no longer hesitated and immediately rushed towards Topo. Then, Sun Wukong attacked Topo with a powerful punch. Topo raised his hand and caught Sun Wukong's fist. Sun Wukong attacked again quickly and kicked him. Topo squatted down and dodged Sun Wukong's attack again. Sun Wukong immediately increased the power and speed of his attack. Topo easily dodged all of them. Oh my, there's a big difference. Sun Wukong scratched his head embarrassedly. What kind of attack is this? Do you want to treat me as a fool? Topo said coldly, looking unhappy, or is this your limit? In the stands, the two Omni Kings were also excited to watch the battle between Sun Wukong and Topo. Hey! Wukong's feeling has changed. The future Omni King suddenly said. Wukong uses transformation to fight. The Omni King replied. Wow! So handsome! The future Omni King was excited. He has other transformations. The Omni King looked at his future self. Really? How many more are there? The future Omni King asked. The Omni King counted on his fingers, but couldn't count them all. Luo Tian. The High Priest saw it and asked Luo Tian. Luo Tian hurriedly saluted respectfully. These are all basic etiquette, and none of them should be missing. How many transformations does Mr. Sun Wukong have? The High Priest asked. There are also Super Saiyan 1, 2, 3, Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Blue. Luo Tian explained, there are a total of 5 transformations now. As for the sign of Ultra Instinct and the True Ultra Instinct, in principle, they are not considered transformations. Would you like to add them, Mr. High Priest? Hey? Add how many are they? Asked the future Omni King. Luo Tian, 7. Luo Tian replied. I want to see them all. The future Omni King was very excited. Okay. Luo Tian nodded without objection. The future Omni King was even more excited. Although the Omni King didn't say anything, his expression was as excited as his future self, as if he was the one who was going to transform next. Wukong. Luo Tian spoke to Sun Wukong who was fighting on the ring. Sun Wukong temporarily stopped attacking. Chapter 433 Omni King, I want to see them all. Lord All King wants to see all your transformations, including the ultimate self-intention. Luo Tian smiled. Hey? Okay, okay. Sun Wukong nodded. You still have 6 transformations. Topo said with a dark face. Hehe, I didn't plan to use all of them. Sun Wukong laughed, and then without any hesitation, he immediately started the transformation of Super Saiyan 2. Swish swish, lightning bolts quickly wrapped around Sun Wukong's body, crackling. Sun Wukong's hair stood up higher. This is Super Saiyan 2. Sun Wukong smiled. Hey? Did he transform? It seems that there is not much change. The future All-King was stunned and found that Sun Wukong did not seem to have changed much. He could not help but feel a little disappointed. Xiangpa, who was standing by, was so scared that he trembled at the time and hurriedly shouted to Sun Wukong, Wukong, quickly transform, hurry up. Sun Wukong turned his head and looked at the platform where Xiangpa was, and nodded seriously. Boom! Sun Wukong's body suddenly burst out with more powerful energy, and the lightning on his body became more dense. At the same time, Sun Wukong's hair continued to extend backwards, and his long hair fluttered over his waist. In addition, Sun Wukong's face became a little evil, his eyebrows were deeply embedded in his eye sockets, and his face was still smiling. Seeing Sun Wukong's changes, Topo on the side was speechless. The two all-kings were excited and dancing. Wow! Goku's face has become scary. The Omni-King stood up happily. This is so interesting. The future Omni-King also clapped excitedly. Sun Wukong no longer hesitated, and immediately flew towards Topo and launched a fierce attack on him. However, no matter how hard Sun Wukong tried, he still couldn't hit Topo. What's going on? The gap hasn't narrowed at all. Sun Wukong jumped back, feeling a headache. As a trainee Kaishin, don't you know how powerful the god of destruction is? Topo snorted coldly, the end of underestimating the enemy will be tragic, and I should attack as soon as possible. Bang! After Topo finished speaking, he punched Sun Wukong fiercely, hitting him directly in the face. Sun Wukong's face was distorted, his body flew backwards, and he fell heavily to the ground, and rolled several times on the ground before he finally stabilized. Topo looked at Sun Wukong with a cold face, with a bit of disdain in his eyes. It hurts so much. Sun Wukong climbed up from the ground and rubbed his face that was hurt. Your arm is so thick, but I didn't expect the speed of your punches so fast. Topo, don't talk about my arm. Topo snorted coldly. Topo is so powerful. The king of all side. He is so strong even without transformation. The future king of all nodded. Topo had no reason to be polite, and launched a fierce attack on Sun Wukong again. Sun Wukong responded awkwardly. Bang! Topo hit Sun Wukong with another heavy blow, knocking him out. Immediately afterwards, Topo flashed behind Sun Wukong and kicked him to another direction. Sun Wukong rubbed his feet and hands on the ground of the ring, and finally stopped. Hurry up and transform into the next one. You can't beat me with this transformation. Topo said coldly. I know. There's no other way. Let's transform into the next one. Sun Wukong nodded. The next transformation will be completely different. You'd better be careful. Topo, ha! Sun Wukong's body was burning with flames, and he immediately transformed into the Super Saiyan God. After sensing the divine power of Sun Wukong, many gods of destruction present also showed some surprise. Of course, the gods have sensed the divine breath coming from Sun Wukong. This is my fourth transformation, Super Saiyan God. Sun Wukong said with a smile. You finally used the divine power, so I should be a little more serious. Topo said, and a layer of purple-red light appeared on his body. Since you are an intern god of destruction, you must have received some guidance from the Lord God of Destruction. Sun Wukong smiled slightly. That's right. I bear the reputation of Master Waimei, so I can't lose to you. Topo snorted coldly. I won't lose either. Sun Wukong grinned. Hey! Topo no longer hesitated, and immediately waved his hand, ejecting a powerful energy from his hand. The energy whistled towards Sun Wukong's position. Sun Wukong decisively rushed into the sky and flew up. Topo raised his hand and ejected another energy bomb. The energy bomb hit Sun Wukong in the sky. Just as Sun Wukong was about to avoid the attack of the energy bomb by flying, Luo Tian spoke, no flying. Ah yes, Sun Wukong suddenly reacted. Boom! The next moment, Sun Wukong was unfortunately hit and was hit by the energy bomb released by Topo. There was also a huge roar in the sky, and the energy bloomed, like a beautiful firework. Sun Wukong fell from the air swayingly. At the moment when he was about to touch the ring, Sun Wukong raised his hand and grabbed the edge of the ring, and jumped onto the ring. The attack just now was good. Sun Wukong said with a smile. There are 3 more transformations, hurry up and transform them. Topo snorted coldly. Okay, the next one is Super Saiyan Blue. Sun Wukong's body was glowing with blue flames, his hair stood up high, and he started the Super Saiyan Blue transformation. After seeing Sun Wukong's transformation, Topo's face also changed. It became more solemn. Topo clearly felt that Sun Wukong's transformation had a power that was stronger than his own. If he was not careful, he would be easily defeated by him. "Let me give it a try," Sun Wukong said, and suddenly punched him. Topo was immediately shocked and raised his arm to block Sun Wukong's fist. Bang! Sun Wukong's fist hit Topo's arm on the spot. Topo grimaced in pain, and felt that his arm was almost twisted and deformed. This guy, his power has really increased a lot. Bang! Topo endured the severe pain and slapped Sun Wukong. Sun Wukong dodged lightly and kicked Topo to the ground with a flying kick. However, Sun Wukong did not continue to attack, but looked at Topo and asked with concern, "Are you okay? I stepped a little hard just now." Topo got up from the ground, his face became more solemn, and there was a little more fear in his eyes when he looked at Sun Wukong. Especially when he thought of Sun Wukong's 2 more transformations, Topo became even more uneasy. The 5th transformation was so strong, how powerful would the 6th and 7th transformations be? Chapter 434, Ultra Transformation. The gods were stunned. "Wukong, there are 2 more transformations, change quickly," Xiangpa shouted. "Okay." Sun Wukong glanced at Xiangpa and nodded gently. "Shua." Then, Sun Wukong immediately dispersed the blue light on his body and took a deep breath. Topo perked up, his expression became more solemn, and he stared at Sun Wukong closely. "Next, in principle, this is not a transformation, but a skill of God," Sun Wukong explained. "It is also called a transformation because this skill can be better displayed through transformation." In the stands of the 7th universe, Beerus also looked unhappy. "Whis, that guy Sun Wukong has 2 more transformations." That is to say, Beerus seemed to realize something suddenly, and his face changed color. "Yes, he has realized the true freedom." Whis nodded. "So, who will be his opponent in this power conference? If there is no god of destruction participating in the battle?" Beerus clenched his fists tightly, feeling that the whole person was not good. "There will be a way." Whis smiled mysteriously. "Do you already have a suitable solution?" Beerus asked excitedly. Oh, don't ask me everything. Lord Beerus should think about this kind of thing himself," Whis said with a smile. "You 2 Kais, find the right person for me," Beerus shouted at the great Kai and the Kais beside him. Some time ago, there was a man named Moro in the 7th universe, who had quite good strength, but unfortunately he was destroyed by Son Goku. The great Kai sighed sincerely. "People destroyed by Son Goku are useless," Beerus said unhappily, knowing something about Moro. "Don't worry, Lord Beerus, the matter of the power conference has not been completely decided yet," the great Kai said with a smile. "You Kai, next time before you die, teach your disciples about the Kais first, don't let this guy know nothing," Beerus said unhappily. The Kai scratched his head and laughed foolishly. "Got it." The great Kai nodded. Pop! Son Goku suddenly burst into a bright flame like a star, and opened the Ultra Instinct form. "Hey? What is this?" The future Omni King was stunned. "This is the sign of the ultimate self-definition." The High Priest smiled. The future Omni King suddenly realized. After seeing the changes in Sun Wukong, Topo seemed to suddenly think of the god named Luotian. A long time ago, this god Luotian also had this kind of change. Could this person named Sun Wukong become an angel in the future? This is the sign of the ultimate self-definition, Sun Wukong said to Topo with a smile. Topo's face became a little ugly. Why would an intern Kaishin become more powerful than an intern god of destruction? It's not fair. I'm going to start, Sun Wukong said to Topo. Topo, bang! Sun Wukong punched through the air, and the powerful divine power instantly compressed and deformed the air, forming an air cannon. With a bang, the air cannon hit Topo directly. Topo's body flew backwards, his feet tightly gripping the ground, leaving 2 long traces on the ground of the ring. However, these could not stop Topo's tendency to slide backwards. Seeing that Topo was about to fall out of the ring, Sun Wukong suddenly retracted his own strength, and even grabbed Topo's body in the air. Suddenly, Topo's tendency to slide backwards suddenly stopped, and stopped at the edge of the ring. Topo immediately looked behind him, his face was extremely ugly, and his eyes looking at Sun Wukong were even more terrified. There is only one transformation left. Sun Wukong grinned, just like before. In principle, this last one can't be called a transformation. Topo didn't say anything, and he was alert again. Boom! Sun Wukong's body once again burst into more brilliant and dazzling flames, and his hair instantly turned silver-white color. After sensing the divine power of Sun Wukong, all the gods present were stunned. Especially the many angels, who looked at Sun Wukong with a bit more complexity. Is this human being called Sun Wukong going to follow Luo Tian's path? That's basically how Luo Tian came here. The angelic power that erupted from Sun Wukong quickly spread to the surroundings and covered Topo's body. Topo hurriedly crossed his arms, trying to resist the angelic power that covered him. However, the angelic power released by Sun Wukong was too strong, and it easily broke Topo's defense. Pa! Topo fell directly from the ring and hit the ground below, falling on his buttocks. Delicious, Delicious sighed helplessly. Oh my, I didn't expect Mr. Sun Wukong beside Luo Tian to have reached this level. It's really amazing. Makarita sighed. If the tournament of power is really held, can Jiren defeat him? Waimei asked with gritted teeth. Judging from the current level, it may be difficult for Mr. Jiren to win. Makarita shook her head. We didn't want to talk anymore. Is Jiren no longer a match for Son Goku? It is so true. Beerus clenched his fists tightly. This is not going to be easy. There will be a way, Lord Beerus. Whis smiled slightly. Topo fell out of the arena, and Son Goku won this game. Luo Tian announced. The 2 Omni Kings clapped their hands excitedly. Son Goku jumped down from the ring and appeared beside Topo. Are you okay? Son Goku asked with concern, and reached out to pull Topo. Topo didn't mean to hold hands with Son Goku, and got up from the ground. Will Jiren come to participate in the official competition? Son Goku asked with a smile. Of course. Jiren will definitely defeat you. Topo gritted his teeth and said. That's good. Sun Wukong nodded. I've been waiting for this day for a long time. Topo said no more, but jumped back to the stands of the 11th universe. Lord Waimei, I'm really sorry. Topo knelt down to Waimei, his eyes full of guilt and unwillingness. Topo, it doesn't matter, let Jiren deal with that guy when the time comes. Waimei said in a deep voice. Can Jiren beat him? Topo didn't think much of Jiren. Of course. When Waimei said this, he didn't feel very confident. The high priest called Luo Tian to the side of the king of all to discuss the matter of the power conference together. Luo Tian expressed his opinion. Chapter 435 Luo Tian, you can announce it. Luo Tian, you can announce it. The high priest smiled. Luo Tian had no reason to be polite. He immediately floated above the ring and looked at the gods present with gentle eyes. Everyone, after referring to the previous competition, the rules of the competition have been decided. Luo Tian said with a smile, from each universe, except for the God of Destruction and the King of the Worlds, select 10 people as contestants. The gods present were stunned when they heard these words. 10 people? More than I thought. Do you need so many people to participate in the competition? After the competition just now, the rules of the competition have been simplified a little. Luo Tian continued to announce, there is only one way to win the tournament of power, which is to knock the opponent off the ring. Hey? Is there only this one? Sun Wukong had returned to the stands of the sixth universe at this time, turned his head and asked curiously, what if the opponent falls on the ring? Then throw the opponent out of the ring. Luo Tian replied, of course you can't kill people. The time limit for the competition is 100 tak. 100 tak? How much is that? Sun Wukong was stunned. According to the time of the Earth, it is about 48 minutes. Bardos explained. 48 minutes? Isn't the time too long? Sun Wukong scratched his head, wouldn't it be endless if we beat him all at once? Pa! Broly flew over and slapped Sun Wukong to the ground with a slap. Listen to me! Broly shouted, don't talk back. Yes, Sun Wukong nodded. Don't worry, because there is only one round in the game, all the players will play together. Luo Tian said with a smile. All the players. Sun Wukong was stunned. The gods present also widened their eyes and showed shock. It's okay, I will prepare a very large arena. Luo Tian smiled. The gods fell into deep thought. This is definitely a very grand game. Everyone fights together within the specified time, and the universe with the most remaining people wins. Luo Tian continued to add, if there is only one person left before the end of the specified time, then this universe will win the final victory. Hearing Luo Tian's words, the gods present whispered. Each universe has 10 people participating in the game, this scale is not ordinary. In this way, the team matching humph, our teamwork has never been very good. Xiangpa curled his lips, feeling a little unhappy. In this power conference, Super Dragon Balls will be given as prizes to outstanding players, and any wish of theirs will be fulfilled. Luo Tian said with a smile. The gods were stunned again. Super Dragon Balls as prizes. After a short silence, a Kai King of a universe raised his hand and asked to speak. Please speak. Luo Tian said respectfully. Lord Luo Tian, we already know the rewards for the best players, so what prizes will be given to the winning universe? The Kai King asked. Nothing. Luo Tian answered calmly. Hey? I know. It turns out to be fame. The Kai King was stunned for a short time, and then he immediately realized it. No, nothing is the best reward for the winning universe. Luo Tian smiled slightly. The Kai and the gods present were also obviously stunned, not knowing what Luo Tian really meant by this sentence. Nothing will be done to the winning universe, but the losing universe will be wiped out by the Lord of all. Luo Tian added what he had just said. After hearing this news, the gods on the scene were stunned, and their faces instantly became extremely ugly. After a long silence, the gods immediately panicked. Especially Beerus, who was trembling with fear. Lord of all said before that there are too many universes and it is very troublesome to manage, so he decided to wipe out some universes. Luo Tian explained calmly, originally, 8 universes were to be wiped out immediately, leaving only 4 universes, but since Sun Wukong brought up the matter of the power conference, let's give one of the universes a chance. How could this happen? This is troublesome. The gods present were extremely pale, and it was so ugly that they felt as if the sky had fallen. It was really an unexpected event. Whis sighed. It is far more serious than expected. Beerus said in a deep voice. Among the 8 universes, only one universe is left. Why Mei was so pale? Which 4 universes are they? Xiangpa asked. These 4 universes are the first universe, the 12th universe, the 5th universe and the 8th universe. Luo Tian said lightly. Hey? Why? Helios was puzzled. Because the comprehensive index level of these 4 universes is higher than 7, they are exempted from participating in this competition. Luo Tian smiled. After hearing the answer given by Luo Tian, the gods of the 4 universes felt that happiness came too suddenly, and their faces were filled with joyful smiles. Is this the result of our usual hard work? Except for us, the gods of the other universes are almost lying down and rarely go to work. Great! At least our universe can be preserved. The gods of the 4 universes sighed and felt fortunate for their hard work. Then that if the universe is wiped out, what will happen to us? Rumsey asked nervously. Don't worry. Luo Tian smiled. Rumsey and the gods breathed a sigh of relief. As long as nothing happens, it's fine. Maybe they will have to go to a new universe to be the god of destruction and the king of the worlds in the future. In addition to the angels, the gods of destruction and the king of the worlds will also disappear with the universe. Luo Tian added. The gods present were all shocked. You have been panting for too long, haven't you? You made us happy for nothing. Whis, what is the comprehensive index level of our universe? Beerus asked. At present, the comprehensive index level of our 7th universe is only 3.11. Whis explained, it is indeed not high, ranking last among all universes. Beers, ya what did you say? Last place? Beerus exclaimed. Originally it should have been the second to last place, but later, after the Earth of the 6th universe was exchanged with ours, it became the last place. Whis sighed slightly. It's all your fault, you 2 idiots. Why don't you develop the universe properly and stare at that Majin Buu all day long? Beerus was furious and shouted at the Great Kai and the King of the Kai. The Great Kai smiled innocently. The King of the Kai retorted with a strong argument, how dare you say that to me? Aren't you sleeping all day long? Chapter 436 Go to meet the Space-Time King of the Kai Bell? The conference will be held in the realm of nothingness, where I will build a special arena, and the High Priest will teleport everyone there. Luo Tian announced, please gather and wait at any location in your own universe. Latecomers will be disqualified from participating. Please pay attention. How long is left before the start of the competition? Sun Wukong turned his head and asked Bardos beside him. Less than 39 hours. Bardos replied calmly. In addition, the use of weapons and drugs is prohibited during the competition. If discovered, the entire team will be disqualified. Luo Tian added and looked at the High Priest. The High Priest flew over slowly, his eyes swept across the audience, and asked, does everyone remember what Luo Tian said? The gods responded one after another, saying that they had remembered it. Then, I will send you back now. Time is running out. Please get ready as soon as possible. The High Priest said, waving his arms. After a moment, the invisible angelic power quickly covered the gods. Shua! The gods disappeared in a flash. Even Broly and Bu, as well as Mers and Bayer, returned to their original universes. Only Luo Tian and the High Priest, 2 kings and 2 guards were left at the scene. Lord King of all, Luo Tian and I will build the ring next. The High Priest said to the King of all. Yes. The King of all nodded. Let's go. The High Priest said, snapping his fingers at Luo Tian. Shua! In just a moment, the High Priest brought Luo Tian to the world of nothingness. Let's build a new ring here. The High Priest pointed to the chaos in front. Okay. Luo Tian nodded, and pointed the scepter in his hand in the air. Snap! A large ring immediately appeared at the scene. The entire ring is like a huge spinning top, with a pillar in the center. During the game, the pillar will fall down as time goes by. When the pillar falls to the same level as the ring, the game time is just over. Luo Tian told the High Priest all his ideas. Yes, your idea is similar to mine. The High Priest was very satisfied with the ring created by Luo Tian, and looked around the ring. I always feel that something is missing. Add the stands and the sun. Luo Tian waved his scepter again and made a light above the ring. This light will rotate around the ring, just like the sun, illuminating the area. At the same time, Luo Tian also built a long stand around the ring. These stands are for the gods in the universe to watch the game. In addition, all contestants must be divided into gravities so that their gravity is consistent with the planet where they were born. Luo Tian smiled. The high priest smiled with satisfaction. Luo Tian could handle this kind of thing very well. As long as he attached the angel power to the ring, the angel power could affect the gravity of each contestant according to the information of each contestant. The ring for the power competition was built in this way. The high priest looked at it carefully again and felt that there was no big problem. He praised Luo Tian's approach again. Let you lead the power competition this time. The high priest patted Luo Tian's shoulder. What about you, Lord High Priest? Luo Tian was slightly stunned and asked, are you not at the scene of this power competition? I plan to go out for a while. The high priest pondered. Where are you going? Luo Tian was stunned and couldn't help asking, are you going to the demon realm? No. The high priest shook his head, but he didn't hide it. He explained to Luo Tian, I plan to go to another time and space to have a look. Which time and space? Is it the time and space of the candidate for the god of destruction? Luo Tian asked, it's good to go and have a look. I'll go too. I'm an angel. Although his level is as high as mine, I may not lose to him. Not to his time and space. The high priest pondered, I'm going to the time and space of the candidate for the god of the world king, Belsi. What's so good about that time and space? Luo Tian was a little disappointed and lost interest immediately. It is said that the overall comprehensive index level of that time and space has reached a very high height. The high priest sighed and told Luo Tian the truth. Overall comprehensive index level? How high? Luo Tian asked in surprise. The first place has reached a height of 32.8. The high priest put his hands behind his back and pondered in a low voice. Luo Tianyi certainly knew that in the space and time he was in, the first place's cosmic comprehensive index level was only 7 or so. As a result, the first place in another space and time had reached a height of 32.8. How did he develop? Luo Tian also became interested and suggested, I'll go and see it too. Okay. The high priest nodded, but did not object. When do you plan to leave? Luo Tian asked. Say hello to that space and time first. The high priest said, and immediately took out the scepter and spoke through the crystal ball on the scepter. Luo Tian couldn't help but lean over to take a look, and suddenly found that the high priest was talking to him. Luo Tian saw that it seemed that the high priest in the crystal ball seemed to be him from another space and time. Okay, then I'll take Luo Tian to your space and time to see and learn. The high priest smiled. Welcome, it should be us who learn from you. How long will it take to come? The high priest of another space and time asked politely. Get ready, maybe about 100 tak. The high priest replied. Then, I'll let Belsi come to greet Mr. Luo Tian. The high priest of another time and space said politely. No need to be so polite. Luo Tian took over, in the future, we will all be gods of time and space. Mr. Luo Tian is basically the candidate god of time and space angels, but Belsi on our side has not even started yet. The high priest of another time and space said with a smile. Then let's do this first, about 100 tak, Luo Tian and I will go over. The high priest looked at the crystal ball. The other self smiled. Okay. The high priest of another time and space responded, I'll wait for you here. The call ended. Why do you have to wait so long to go there? Luo Tian asked, puzzled. 100 tuckers, that's equivalent to 48 minutes. Since you are going to visit another time and space, you must bring some gifts, right? The high priest smiled. But what gifts should I give? Luo Tian was a little embarrassed. Because Luo Tian was most reluctant to give gifts. The main thing was that he didn't know what to give. Besides, what we have in this time and space should also be available in another time and space. Chapter 437. I'll go to GT time and space to recruit people. Okay. Luo Tian nodded, without objection, I'll go back and arrange the contestants for the 6th universe. The High Priest said no more, and immediately performed teleportation and disappeared. Luo Tian, you performed teleportation and disappeared, but I have to fly back to the 6th universe? Fortunately, this place is not too far from the 6th universe, and it won't take long to fly back. However, Luo Tian still said hello to Sun Wukong and asked him to come and pick him up. After all, he will go to another time and space in a while to visit the Kai King god named Belsi. Time is quite tight. Shua. Sun Wukong appeared beside Luo Tian in just a moment and looked at the large arena that appeared in the distance. Is that the arena prepared for the power conference? Sun Wukong asked curiously. Yes. Luo Tian nodded. Can I go up and take a look? Sun Wukong asked again. Go and bring Xiangpa, Bardos, and Fuhua here. Luo Tian suggested, then take a good look at this arena. Sun Wukong readily agreed and immediately used instant movement to disappear. In less than a minute, Sun Wukong brought Xiangpa, Bardos, and Kai King God Fuhua to the scene. This arena looks very big. Xiangpa sighed. Sun Wukong immediately stepped onto the ring and felt it for a while. I have something to do later, let's decide on the players who will participate in the competition first. Luo Tian said to Xiangpa. No problem, our universe has Goku, so we will definitely win. Xiangpa smiled confidently. On the contrary, Beerus's 7th universe should have no players to show off, right? Don't say that, there are still many powerful people in the 7th universe. Luo Tian smiled. Hey? It's just a pity for that guy named Moro, he is dead. If he is still alive, he can participate in the competition on behalf of the 7th universe. Sun Wukong scratched his head and answered with his chin in his hand. If a guy like Moro participates in the competition, he may be wiped out by the wrath of the Lord of all. Xiangpa shook his head. Yes, Lord Xiangpa is right. Bardos nodded. The 7th universe might find someone from another time and space. Xiangpa guessed, there is no rule in this competition that says we can't find people from other time and space, as long as they are from our own universe, right, Lord Luo Tian? It's indeed not a violation. Luo Tian nodded slightly. Let's not talk about the 7th universe now, let's talk about the contestants from our universe. Bardos, you go first. The contestants from our universe are Mr. Son Goku, Mr. Vegeta, Mr. Piccolo, Miss Kale, Mr. Son Gohan, Mr. Hit. Bardos said one by one, and soon named 6 contestants. There are still 4 missing. Xiangpa pondered silently, and then added, add Caulifla, so there will be 7 people. Okay, Lord Xiangpa. Bardos did not object. Besides, who should we choose for the remaining 3? Xiangpa was a little embarrassed. Should we add number 17 and number 18? There's also number 21. Sun Wukong suggested, with the 3 of them, the number will be just enough. Let's add number 17 and number 18. Luo Tian suggested. Who should we choose for the last person? Xiangpa asked. There's also Goten, Trunks, and Calories. Sun Wukong scratched his head and suddenly thought of the 3 of them. They seem to be stronger than number 17 and number 18, right? Xiangpa asked. Yes, the 3 of them are also working hard to practice, so why not add the 3 of them? Sun Wukong expressed his opinion. Number 17 and number 18 have eternal energy. Luo Tian smiled and said, are you sure you want Goten and Trunks to participate in the competition? Let's let Goten and Trunks participate. Xiangpa also thought it would be more appropriate to let them participate, and they can use fusion at critical moments, right? Yes. Sun Wukong nodded. Then, the contestants from our universe are Bardos said as a number of avatars appeared in his hand, and he confirmed it again. After you go back, gather these contestants together and see if they have anything to do. If not, let them participate in the competition. If they can't come, just destroy it. Luo Tian gave an order to Xiang Pa. No problem. Xiang Pa clenched his fist and agreed readily. Sun Wukong smiled a little distressed. Then Lord Luo Tian, shall we go back first? Fu Hua asked. Go ahead. Luo Tian waved his hand. Afterwards, Fu Hua took Sun Wukong and others away from the scene, returned to the 6th universe, and appeared at the headquarters of the Universal Capsule Group. Wukong, go and call people. Xiangpa called to Sun Wukong. Sun Wukong nodded and immediately teleported away. Ha ha ha, what I am most worried about now is the 7th universe. Can this guy get 10 people together? Xiangpa smiled proudly. Don't be too happy too early, Lord Xiangpa. The potential of the 7th universe has always been very high. Don't underestimate the enemy. Bardos glanced at Xiangpa and sighed helplessly. If the Earths of our 2 universes had not been exchanged. I really don't know who are the candidates for the power conference on our side. I'm afraid it can only be the people headed by Mr. Hit. The 7th universe, Beerus planet. Whis, Beerus, King Kai and Great King Kai all appeared here. Oh no! This is troublesome. Who is suitable for our universe to participate in the competition? Beerus held his head and showed a painful expression. Lord Beerus, didn't we call people from another time and space last time? This time it shouldn't be against the rules, after all, it doesn't say that we can't call people from other time and space. King Kai hesitated for a moment, and finally expressed his thoughts. Beerus looked at King Kai silently, then turned his head to look at Whis, wanting to ask for Whis's opinion. After all, Beerus was not very clear whether this kind of thing was against the rules. If it was against the rules, it would be no fun to be wiped out by Lord Omni King directly. Let's clarify the rules first. It's not against the rules. Whis nodded, and then said, anyway, in another time and space, they are also considered people from our universe. As long as they are from our universe, they can participate in the competition. That's good, that's good. Beerus breathed a sigh of relief. Chapter 438 Whis, found a suitable player. Wait a moment, Lord Kaishan. Whis called out to Kaishan. Kaishan stopped traveling through time and space, paused, and turned to look at Whis. First, let's determine the candidates from that time and space. Whis suggested. You're right. Kaishan nodded. Like last time, how about calling all 4 guys over? Beerus suggested. I think it's okay. I think Mr. Gaku from GT Time and Space should have made great progress. Kaishan smiled. After all, the strength of Sun Wukong in our time and space has improved rapidly, and Sun Wukong in GT Time and Space must have improved even more. First determine the players in our time and space, and then see how many people are missing, and then go to that time and space. Whis calmly expressed his thoughts. By the way, Frisia. Didn't Frisia go to practice? How is he? Beerus' eyes lit up, and he thought of Frisia. I'll bring Frisia over. Kaishan suggested. Don't worry, select the people first, and then bring them over one by one. Whis sighed, really wanting to give King Kai a stick. Whis, observe and see if there are any powerful humans in our universe. Beerus ordered Whis. Oh, don't count on me for everything, you should learn to solve it yourself. Whis said with a smile, looking like he didn't care about anything. Stop it, Whis, what good will it do you if the universe disappears? Beerus shouted angrily. Although the disappearance of the universe is of no benefit to me, it won't have any impact. Whis smiled. Beerus didn't want to talk anymore. Hurry up, don't waste time. Beerus urged. Okay, then I'll look for it. Whis took the scepter and pretended to search. And you, Great King Kai. Don't be in a daze there, hurry up and find it. Beerus urged. When we were fighting with Moro before, we found that many prisoners were very strong, but it's not appropriate for them to participate in the competition. The Great Kai groaned. People like that shouldn't participate in the competition. If the Lord of the Omni knew that they were doing so many evil things, he might just wipe out our universe. Beerus said angrily. So there won't be any problems if we ask Frisia to participate in the competition? The King of the Kai wiped his sweat quietly. No, it's easier to manage just one Frisia. If there are too many people who do bad things, there will definitely be a lot of trouble. Beerus replied. The King of the Kai and the Great Kai nodded in agreement, and suddenly felt that Beerus was right. After waiting for a while, finally, Whis got the result. Found it. Found one. Whis smiled with her hands covering her mouth, and looked deeply at the crystal ball. How is it? Is it strong? Beerus asked excitedly. Very strong, but it was formed by external forces. Whis explained. Formed by external forces? What do you mean? Beerus didn't understand. His name is Granola, and he became the first in the universe through the Dragon Balls this strong. Whis told what he saw. Make a wish through the Dragon Ball? Beerus understood. Could his wish be to become the best in the universe? This wish is outrageous, right? Can Shenlong help him fulfill it? King Kai asked puzzledly. It shouldn't be a big problem, but it will cost a lot. Great King Kai pondered. Yes, what the Great King Kai said is right. Whis nodded in the direction of the Great King Kai, and said calmly, the Granola family originally had a lifespan of 200 years, and he compressed the 150 years of his lifespan down to only 3 years, so he fulfilled his wish to become the best in the universe. Bring him here. Beerus issued an order to the King Kai. Granola is currently at the headquarters of the Siddha organization. Whis told the other party's location. I'll go right away. The King of the Worlds readily agreed and planned to set off immediately. Master Beerus, let's go with you. Whis suggested. Beerus was slightly stunned and looked at Whis in confusion. With the strength of Master Kai, if the other party has bad intentions, I'm afraid he is not his opponent. Whis explained. Beerus nodded and did not object. If the King of the Worlds dies, it will be troublesome enough. The game is about to start. So, let the Great King of the Worlds go with me, and let this kid go to GT to recruit people. Beerus gave the order. We need at least 7 more people here. Whis sighed. Beerus didn't want to talk anymore. Could it be that almost all of our players in this tournament of power come from another time and space? The King of the World said with a smile, there are so many players from other time and space. Wouldn't it be bad if Master Omni knew about it? Beerus felt that what King Kai said was right, but he couldn't find a suitable candidate. By the way, Lord Beerus, since we invited Frisia to participate in the competition, why don't we invite Frisia's brother, father, and his son? King Kai suddenly had an idea, his eyes flashing with brilliance. Beerus was slightly stunned, looked at King Kai deeply, and said nothing with a cold face. Okay, just ignore what I said. King Kai shook his head. No, King Kai, you are right, this is indeed a good choice. Beerus smiled with satisfaction, and a shallow arc appeared at the corner of his mouth. However, they seem to be dead, and they all died a long time ago when Luo Tian was training. Frisia's brother Cooler was killed by Sun Wukong. King Kai knew what happened that year. Whis, go and resurrect them. It just so happens that they have grievances. It is a good choice. Beerus smiled. Okay, then we add Mr. Cool, and Mr. Eyes, and the number will basically be enough. Whis nodded gently. Let me count. King Kai counted one by one with his fingers, Gaku and Vegeta in another time and space, Broly and Orb, Frisia, Cool, Eyes, Cool, Granola in our time and space. Why is there one less person? Let's find that person now. Whis pondered, Lord Kai and I will go to the underworld to revive Cool and the others, and then Lord Kai will go to another time and space to bring the 4 players over, and Lord Beerus and Lord Great King Kai will go to the headquarters of Sita to find Granola. Let's act separately. Beerus agreed readily. Both parties immediately acted separately. Chapter 439, the first in the universe? The 7th universe, the headquarters of Theta. The headquarters of Theta is a large meteorite suspended in the starry sky. A luxurious castle is built on the meteorite. This castle is the headquarters of Theta. The Theta organization is composed of 4 blue-skinned aliens. The 4 blue-skinned aliens are led by Eluk, with JAS, Oil, and Maggie as auxiliary teams. Maggie is a woman, and the other 3 are men. All 4 of them have small dreadlocks and look fashionable. They are mainly responsible for collecting intelligence in the 7th universe and selling the collected intelligence to those in need at a high price. In the Bardock era, the planet where the wealthy Hugol people lived had problems, so they found the Theta organization and hoped to move to a suitable planet to live. The Theta organization was optimistic about the Cyril planet where the Granola family lived, and gave this information to Frisia, give him a high price to let him capture that planet. After Frisia got the information, he ordered the Saiyans to attack Cyril. After receiving the order, the Saiyans launched a fierce attack on Cyril and killed all the Cyrillians except Granola. Bardock also participated in this battle. However, Bardock saved Granola and his mother because of his soft heart. Later, Bardock fought a desperate battle with the strongest JAS of the Sita organization and defeated him. He also learned about the conspiracy of the Sita organization, but he could do nothing about them. Even if Frisia was told about this, Frisia would not care. Besides, Bardock didn't like Frisia in the first place, so he naturally wouldn't tell him. At this time, a spaceship left a red light in the starry sky and flew quickly towards the headquarters of the Sita organization. The next moment, Granola's spaceship landed outside the headquarters. Granola walked out of the spaceship and walked straight to the castle of the Sita organization. Stop! You can't go in now. The guard at the door immediately shouted at Granola. Granola ignored him and stepped into the hall of the castle. In the hall, several exotic beauties were dancing. The beautiful music and their beautiful dancing gave people a wonderful enjoyment. Even the air was filled with the fragrance of the beauties. It turned out to be Granola. Eluk, who was sitting on the main seat, looked at Granola with a cold face. We are watching a dance performance. Do you have something to do? Tell me, where is Frisia? Granola asked. I thought you wanted to say something, and it was because of this? Eluk snorted coldly and told the beauties to leave. The beauties immediately stopped dancing and left the hall. I told you before that you can't beat Frisia with your current strength. Eluk frowned and said lightly. No, I can. Granola replied, I have become the first in the universe. The first in the universe? Are you dreaming? Maggie, who was standing next to him, laughed so hard that her body shook. Because you are eager for revenge, you have become mentally ill, right? Oil laughed. Sorry, Granola, I have already made an appointment today. Eluk stood up and ordered him to leave directly. Next, we should have dinner. Let's listen to your sleep talk slowly next time. I am not dreaming. I really became the first in the universe. Please tell me. Granola said in a pleading tone. Oil, get out. Eluk turned his head and looked at Oil. Yes. Oil nodded and walked towards Granola. Granola, stop it. You actually disturbed our happy party. You should get some sleep. As he said this, Oil clenched his fists and looked fierce. After saying this, Oil punched Granola directly. In the past, Oil had beaten Granola like this many times, and Granola couldn't resist at all at that time. But now it's completely different. Granola slightly turned sideways to avoid Oil's attack and poked his stomach with his finger. Bang! Accompanied by a loud bang, Oil's body flew straight back and hit the wall behind him, leaving a hole in the wall. Eluk and Maggie were both surprised. Oil slid down the wall and sat on the ground, screaming in pain. What's the matter? What did you do just now? Maggie was stunned and asked in a lost voice. I told you I've gotten stronger. Granola said lightly. Haha, it seems that's not completely nonsense. Alec looked at Granola with deep eyes. Are you okay? Oil? Maggie asked with concern. Oil had already stood up with the help of Jas. Oil, continue to fight Granola. Alec snorted coldly, and immediately became interested. Okay. Oil nodded. Let me see your strength, Granola. Alec smiled. Granola looked indifferent, and knew that this battle had to be fought. Just let them understand my powerful strength. Go. Alec ordered Oil. Oil was strong and rushed quickly in the direction of Granola and slapped him. Granola jumped lightly without panic, dodged Oil's attack, and kicked him in the face. Oil's face was twisted and deformed by the kick, and he grimaced in pain, punching Granola. Granola dodged again. Oil chased and attacked Granola fiercely, leaving a hole in the ground with each punch. But Granola dodged easily. Alec was stunned. What's going on? Why did he dodge it? Maggie was pale. Jas was silent. Oil punched Granola again. Granola was already suspended in the air, with green light condensing at his fingertips. Swish! A green light shot out from Granola's finger and shot towards Oil's position. Oil quickly stood up and dodged. However, what Oil didn't know was that the green light shot out by Granola in succession had already left several holes in the ground. As soon as Oil fell from the air, he felt his body sink and fell directly into the cave below. Hey, he is playing a fool. Maggie couldn't stand it anymore. Chapter 440 I became the first in the universe. Granola didn't know that it was because of the Siddha organization that Cyril's talents were destroyed. He attributed all his hatred to Frisia and the Saiyans. Hey, Oil, is this all? Let Maggie go. Alec said to Oil in the cave with a smile. Oil immediately raised the fallen stone slab and the one below rushed up, already furious, and shouted at Granola, how could I lose to you? Hey! War threw the slate directly in the direction of Granola. Granola stretched out his hand, and a light similar to destructive energy flashed in his hand, directly covering the slate. Snap! The flying slate turned into nothingness on the spot and disappeared completely. War's eyes widened, and he was stunned. Did you use any magic? Let me expose your tricks. Maggie snorted, and a red light flashed in her hands. The light turned into sharp claws in an instant. Then, Maggie rushed towards Granola at a high speed, and waved the claws in her hands to launch a fierce attack on Granola. Granola dodged easily. After several rounds of confrontation, Granola tied Maggie's hands with the scarf on her neck at some point. Maggie, why don't you tie a bow? Bang! Granola pulled the scarf and knocked Maggie to the ground. The next moment, Granola pulled the scarf again and threw Maggie against the other wall. Jas couldn't help it anymore, so he flew up and cut the ribbon with a knife. Maggie fell from the air, landing on her hands and feet. Thank you, Jas. Maggie thanked him quickly. You have to be careful, this guy is really strong. Jas was also ready for the battle immediately. Granola calmly wrapped the scarf around his neck and looked at Jas opposite with a calm face. Jas, you don't have to fight anymore, retreat. Alec ordered. Jas was stunned, a little confused about what the boss meant. It's enough. We have seen your true strength. Alec said expressionlessly, Granola, I know you have grown very fast recently, but this time your strength has increased far beyond the ordinary. What happened? Granola hesitated. A short silence. I'm sorry, I can't say this. Granola shook his head. Then I won't tell you where Frisia went. Alec said coldly, you have to know one thing. If your revenge fails, we will be the next unlucky ones. I need evidence to prove that you can defeat Frisia. Granola's expression became more and more serious, and he finally made up his mind. I used the Dragon Ball. Granola told the truth. What? Maggie was stunned, and obviously knew what the Dragon Ball was. As the intelligence organization of the 7th universe, if it doesn't even know about the Dragon Ball, it would be a failure. However, the SIDA organization just learned about the Dragon Ball. Because at that time, Moro used the Dragon Ball to let all the prisoners in the galaxy prison escape, which allowed the SIDA organization to capture this information. Sure enough, there are Dragon Balls on Cyril, right? Alec asked with a smile. Yes, Granola nodded. So that's it, you got the first power in the universe through the Dragon Ball. Alec smiled. That's right. Granola did not deny it. Humph, your method is really despicable. Oil expressed dissatisfaction. Maggie also showed anger. Too shameless. Using such a shameless method. Jas didn't say anything, just looked at Granola coldly. I see, then I understand, but you have to wait a little bit, we are not sure about Frisia's exact location. Alec said in a deep voice, it takes time to check, you go back to Cyril and wait, we will contact you when we find it. I see, try to be quick, I don't have much time. Granola's expression was serious, and his voice was somewhat helpless. What do you mean? Are you dying? Alec was stunned. My lifespan is almost over. Granola told the truth. You are only about 50 years old this year? The lifespan of Cyril people is about 200 years old. Maggie took over and asked in confusion. I used up the remaining 150 years of life to exchange for power. Granola replied. Yeah, what did you say? Alec was stunned for a moment. The dragon told me that if I can condense the power I can hold for the rest of my life, I can double my current power. Granola said in a deep voice, so, although I have become the first in the universe, I only have 3 years left to live. You are so scary that you are willing to make such a sacrifice to defeat Frisia. Maki's eyes were full of shock and confusion. Then I'll leave it to you, Alec. Granola turned around and planned to leave. However, just when Granola just walked to the door. Swish! The Great Kai brought Beerus to perform instant teleportation and appeared at the scene in an instant. Seeing Beerus and the Great Kai appear, everyone present was slightly surprised. Granola immediately turned his head and looked at the two of them, but there was a bit of disdain in his eyes. Who? Who are you? Maki exclaimed. Boy, are you Granola? Beerus ignored Maki and looked at Granola curiously. Who are you? Granola was stunned. I heard that you have passed the Dragon Ball, became the first in the universe? Beerus asked with a smile. Granola was stunned at the time, and immediately turned his head and glared at Alec. You spread the word so quickly. So soon, aliens knew that I became the first in the universe? We didn't say it. Alec was speechless. Alec, that person seems to be Lord Kaishin. Oil lowered his voice and whispered to Alec. Lord Kaishin? How could he come to us? Alec was stunned. What? Is that Lord Kaishin? The fat man? Maggie was stunned. Jas also frowned and looked at the great Kaishin with a cold expression. Do you want to kneel down and salute? Oil asked. Go and salute, you still have to have the proper etiquette. After all, he is the greatest god in our universe. Alec nodded. Then, Alec and his brothers came forward and bowed to the Great Kai. As for Beerus, Alec and the others didn't know him. After all, Beerus, the god of destruction, sleeps most of the time, and very few people know him. Chapter 441 Beerus, are you the number one in the universe? Does Lord Kai have any instructions for us? Alec asked respectfully. Wait a minute. The Great Kai waved his hand at Alec, signaling him not to speak, and glanced at Beerus and Granola. Alec? Who is that cat? Is that cat Lord Kai's pet? Elak lowered his voice and asked. Great Kai, Beerus's face darkened, and a strong murderous intent emerged in his eyes. Elak seemed to be frightened by Beerus's murderous intent, and couldn't help but take 2 steps back. Granola, let me test your strength. Beerus ignored Elak for the time being, but looked at Granola with a smile. I have no interest in you. Granola replied coldly, and looked at the Great Kai with fiery eyes. Is this the legendary Lord Kai? That's great. Don't you want to know the whereabouts of Frisia? I can take you to find Frisia. Beerus smiled lightly. Yeah, what did you say? Can you really find Frisia? Granola asked in surprise, an endless surprise appeared on his face. I want to know how strong you are first, attack me with all your strength. Beerus waved at Granola. Are you serious? Granola was stunned. Hurry up, there's no time, hurry up. Beerus urged. Then I won't be polite. Granola had no reason to be polite, he stretched out a finger and poked at Beerus. Beerus didn't even dodge, he just raised his hand and clamped Granola's finger with his fingers. Granola was stunned at the time, staring at Beerus in disbelief, his eyes full of surprise. Although Granola only used 10% of his strength just now. But this cat blocked it so easily. I said, use all your strength. Beerus said coldly, use all your strength this time, don't hold back. Well, I hope you won't get hurt, I still hope to find Frisia through you. Granola took a deep breath and pulled his finger back. You're welcome, come on. Beerus waved at Granola. Then I won't be polite. Granola's energy exploded, and the vast breath rolled up layers of air waves, shaking the entire castle violently. Yes, it does have extraordinary energy. Beerus nodded with satisfaction. The Great Kai also showed a little surprise. Bang! Granola threw a powerful punch at Beerus' position. Maggie was so scared that she quickly covered her eyes with her hands, guessing that Granola's punch would definitely blow up the cat. The cat didn't look very cute, but it seemed quite fun. It would be interesting to catch it and keep it as a pet. It was a pity that it was about to be blown up by Granola. Elak and the others shook their heads helplessly, feeling that the cat was really arrogant. Don't you know that he became the best in the universe through Dragon Ball? How dare you let him attack you with all his strength? I'm afraid even this Lord Kai is no match for Granola, right? However, when Elak and the others saw the situation clearly, they were stunned and didn't come back to their senses for a long time. The cat actually caught Granola's fist with one finger. Granola was also completely stunned, his eyes enlarged several times, and his face changed again and again. What's going on? Am I not the best in the universe? Why did this cat catch my full strength attack with one finger? And it was so easy. Yes, it does have extraordinary power. Beerus nodded with satisfaction, at least it is stronger than that Son Goku. Hey? Is he stronger than Son Goku already? The Great Kai was also surprised. It should be that when Son Goku was in our universe, he wished to become the first in the universe, so he must have surpassed Son Goku. Beerus felt that happiness came too suddenly, and his grin became more and more brilliant. In this case, is our universe considered cheating? The Great Kai had a headache. How can this be considered cheating? Did you let this guy make a wish through the Dragon Ball to become the first in the universe? Beerus asked confidently. Not me. The Great Kai smiled bitterly and shook his head. Did I let him do this? Beerus asked again. Of course not. The Great Kai shook his head again. Since we didn't let him do this, but he became stronger by himself, of course it can't be considered cheating. Beerus snorted, rolled his eyes at the Great Kai, and asked, What? Do you want our universe to disappear? This of course not. The Great Kai shook his head. The universe disappears? Granola was stunned, a little confused. Elak and the others were also a little surprised, a little confused about what they meant. What is the universe disappearing? Then count you as one. Beerus was very satisfied with Granola's strength. I believe that with your joining, it won't be a big problem to deal with Son Goku and Vegeta. Vegeta? Granola's eyes lit up at the time. Granola was unfamiliar with the name Son Goku, but it was not realistic to say that he didn't know Vegeta. After all, Vegeta was named after the planet Vegeta, and he was a real Saiyan at first glance. Is Vegeta a Saiyan? Granola asked excitedly, his voice a little excited. Yes, Son Goku is also. Beerus nodded, I know it was the Saiyans who destroyed your Cyril planet. Where are they? And where is Frisia? I want to seek revenge on them. Granola clenched his fist tightly, and a look of revenge emerged in his eyes. Hatred can only make you lose yourself. The Great Kai took over and advised, Lord Beerus and I have already discussed it. If Mr. Granola is willing to help us, we can help you revive your parents and some of your people. Even including the planet Cyril where you live, we can help you restore it to its original appearance. Resurrect my parents and some of my people? Granola was stunned. After all, so much time has passed, most of your people have been reincarnated, but there are still a few people, including your parents, who are still in the underworld, and they can be resurrected. The Great Kai smiled. Chapter 442 Another first in the universe. Even including your 3 years of life. If you can perform well, we can find a way to help you extend your life. The Great Kai added, and your planet, it can also be restored to its original appearance. As for the planet, we can just build it ourselves. Granola's requirements were not very high. Whatever. Beerus said lightly, all these things are based on the premise that you can help us complete that thing, otherwise everything is nonsense. What exactly is it? Granola asked curiously. Alec and the others also pricked up their ears, wanting to hear what the conditions would be. Granola was given such a big benefit. Not only to revive his parents, but also to extend his life. Is this what a real god can do? He is worthy of being the greatest god in this universe. It's very simple. In about 40 hours, there will be a game. You will represent our 7th universe to play the game. As long as you win, these wishes can be fulfilled. Beerus said to Granola with a smile. Game? What kind of game? Granola raised his eyebrows and was slightly startled. A competition called the Tournament of Power is held by human players from all universes. The Great Kai immediately told Granola about the Tournament of Power in a simple and concise manner. After hearing the other universes mentioned by the Great Kai, Alec and Granola were stunned again. I didn't expect that there were so many other universes besides this one. Especially Alec and the other 4, they looked at each other in bewilderment, their faces flushed. It's so embarrassing that they don't even know these things, as they are known as the largest intelligence organization in this universe. A moment of silence. The failed universe will be wiped out by Lord All-King himself? Alec was shocked. Are you also participating in the Tournament of Power? Granola asked, looking at Beerus. The God of Destruction and the King of the Kai are not allowed to participate in the competition. The Great Kai explained on the side. The God of Destruction? Granola was stunned. This is Lord Beerus, the God of Destruction. The Great Kai introduced. The God of Destruction? I've never heard of this name. Granola looked confused. Alec and the others also widened their eyes. They had never heard of the God of Destruction. The God of Destruction is the most powerful god in our universe. Just understand it this way. The Great Kai explained. The most powerful god in our universe? Granola's face changed again and again, and his attitude towards Beerus became more respectful. So, do you agree? Beerus asked with a smile. I have no problem. Granola nodded in agreement. By the way, it is worth mentioning that Frisia is your teammate. Beerus added, as for how your planet was destroyed, as the God of Destruction, I certainly know who is the culprit of all this. As he said this, Beerus looked at Elec coldly. Master Beerus means Elec and the others? Granola was slightly stunned. Great Kai, you tell me. Beerus was too lazy to explain. There was a problem on the planet where the Hugers lived, and they asked the Siddha organization to help find a new planet. The Siddha organization took a fancy to your Cyril planet, so they asked Frisia to help capture your planet. The Great Kai explained in detail. Frisia asked the Saiyans to attack your planet, so the following things happened. In other words, Frisia and the Saiyans were used as guns by the Siddha organization. Beerus sneered, and your biological mother was saved by Bardock, the father of the Saiyan son Goku, including you. However, your mother was shot and killed by this guy named Elec in the end. Before coming to the West Tower headquarters, Beerus had already known everything about this place through the introduction given by Whis. So Beerus also knew Granola's experience very clearly. You Elec! Granola's eyes showed endless anger, he clenched his fists tightly, and veins on his forehead bulged. Granola believed that such a powerful god would have no reason to deceive himself. So all this must be true. This Elec never expected such a thing to happen. His face became extremely ugly and he even stuttered when he spoke. Elec was now powerless to resist. Let alone resisting the strongest god of destruction Beerus, even that Granola was not something Elec and his friends could resist now. However, Elec reacted very quickly, his eyes turned, and he immediately came up with a plan. Elec made a prompt decision and knelt down in front of Beerus. Jas, Oil, and Maggie also knelt down and begged for mercy. Granola's face was gloomy, and he stepped forward, intending to kill Elec. Please listen to me, Lord Beerus. Elec said hurriedly, please give me a chance, wait for me to finish, if you are not satisfied, it is not too late to kill me. You say. Beerus stretched out his hand to stop Granola. We also want to participate in the power conference. Elec gritted his teeth and said. Oh? With your level, you will be eliminated immediately after going to the power conference, right? Beerus smiled contemptuously and snorted. Jas is the strongest among our brothers. Elec pointed to Jas who was kneeling beside him and explained, Lord Beerus, what if we can make Jas the number one in the universe through Dragon Ball? This will definitely achieve excellent results in the power conference, which is equivalent to a double insurance for Lord Beerus. Beerus' eyes lit up and he was moved. This guy is right. If there is another first in the universe, there will be no big problem. In this way, our seventh universe can win the final victory and survive. We are also humans in the seventh universe, and we also hope to make some contributions to our own universe. Elec found that Beerus's expression was a little loose, and hurriedly said while the iron was hot. I hope you won't let me down. Beerus smiled and agreed to Elec's request. Thank you, Lord Beerus. Elec saluted again. Granola's eyes showed endless hatred, and he clenched his fists tightly, wishing to destroy Elec now. Your parents can be resurrected, there is no need to put hatred on them. Beerus patted Granola on the shoulder. Chapter 443 The Birth of Black Gold Frisia. Yes, Lord Kaishan. Granola breathed a sigh of relief, and after thinking about it carefully, he felt that what King Kai said was right. At least parents can be resurrected. No matter what, save your own universe first. If the universe disappears, let alone revenge. And after the power tournament, Lord Beerus and the others will not care about the grudges between us. We will take revenge at that time. Let me make it clear first, if this guy becomes the first in the universe, you two will be equivalent to a team, and you will never be allowed to fight within the team, especially during the competition. Do you understand? Beerus looked at Granola and Jas with a serious expression. Got it. Granola nodded obediently. If you don't perform well and don't take the overall situation seriously, I will destroy your parents by my own hands and make them never resurrected again. Beerus threatened. Granola trembled a little, his face changed again and again, and he hurriedly said that he would work hard to achieve good results in the power tournament. Then let's do it. Beerus turned his head and looked at the great Kai. Take Granola away and take him back to the Destroyer God realm first. As for you, whether you can become the first in the universe, the process is not important, I only want the result. Yes, Lord Beerus. Alec replied respectfully. Let's go. Beerus waved his hand. Swish. The great Kai took Beerus and Granola to teleport and returned to the Beerus planet in an instant. Granola immediately looked around and felt endless surprise. How could Iran to this planet in an instant? Is this the Destroyer God realm where Lord Beerus lives? Lord Beerus, shall we go find Frisia next? Asked the great Kai. Yes. Beerus nodded and told Granola, you can move freely here. Got it. Granola nodded. Swish. The great Kai took Beerus to teleport and appeared on another planet in an instant. Then, under the leadership of the great Kai, Beerus and him came to the door of an alternate dimension. Is Frisia practicing in this alternate dimension? Beerus touched his chin and thought. Yes, he went in about 9 days ago. The great Kai nodded. Let's go in and take a look. Beerus called. The two opened the door to the alternate dimension and stepped into the room. After walking through the room and coming to the wide field outside, Beerus and the great Kai saw Frisia, who was training on the white ground. Frisia also found Beerus and the great Kai, and immediately knelt down and saluted. Greetings, Lord Beerus. Frisia said respectfully, and asked with some surprise, I wonder if Lord Beerus wants to see me for something important? Frisia, how is your training going? Beerus squinted his eyes and looked at Frisia, and found that his strength had indeed improved a lot. I still need some time to perfect the latest transformation. Frisia grinned. Oh? Really? Can't you transform now? Beerus was stunned. You can transform, but you can only last for 10 seconds. Frisia said in a deep voice, I think this is far from enough. The short 10 seconds cannot defeat that guy Son Goku. Transform it and let me see. Beerus ordered. Yes, Lord Beerus. Frisia nodded solemnly, and the energy on his body burst out crazily. In the blink of an eye, Frisia transformed into a black gold form. Lord Beerus, this is my new transformation. I named it Black Gold Frisia. Frisia smiled proudly. Oh? It looks good. Try to attack me with all your strength. Beerus nodded with satisfaction, waved at Frisia, and added, remember, attack me with all your strength, don't show mercy. I want to know your true strength. Then I won't be polite. Frisia clenched his fist and concentrated all the energy on his right fist. Then, Frisia no longer hesitated and immediately punched at Beerus' position. The vast energy vibrated the entire space and distorted its shape. Pop! Beerus raised his hand and caught Frisia's fist with his palm. After sensing Frisia's huge energy, Beerus felt extremely shocked. At this moment, Beerus even felt his arms were numb. Snap! Frisia's body trembled violently, and immediately returned to normal. Huff, huff, huff! Frisia gasped for air, felt weak, and cold sweat flowed down his body. I'm really sorry, Lord Beerus, I can only hold on for so short a time now. Frisia said with some guilt, and was also shocked by Beerus's powerful strength. Originally, Frisia thought that he would at least be able to knock Beerus back a step with this punch after turning into black gold. As a result, Lord Beerus remained motionless. He is worthy of being the god of destruction. The punch just now was at least level 40. Beerus pondered. Level 40? How level is Granola? Asked the great Kai. Granola is about level 38. Beerus replied. What about Son Goku? Asked the great Kai again. The current Son Goku seems to be at most level 35. Beerus pondered. So our universe has a great chance of winning. The great Kai breathed a sigh of relief. Frisia, how long will it take for you to completely stabilize in this state? Beerus narrowed his eyes and looked at Frisia. At least 1 year. Frisia replied. Okay, then I'll give you a year, you train well here, and when you go out, you will represent the 7th universe to participate in the power tournament. Beerus smiled and said, when that time comes, you can take revenge on Son Goku. Of course, killing is not allowed at the conference, you must keep this in mind. Power tournament? Frisia was stunned. The great Kai immediately told Frisia everything about the power tournament. I'll take care of this matter, I'll let Son Goku and Vegeta know how powerful I am. Frisia smiled proudly, his eyes full of endless expectations. Besides, Lord Beerus intends to resurrect your father, brother, and son. Do you have any objection? Asked the great Kai again. Humph, why resurrect those useless guys? Frisia snorted coldly. Well, I'll go over and destroy them now. Beerus smiled. Frisia, Chapter 444 GT Son Goku Tournament of Power? I'll join. But they don't have much time to train, only 1.5 years at most, and it's in another dimension. Beerus pondered. I'm looking forward to it. Frisia saluted again. You should train well here, and I believe you can see them when you go out. Beerus patted Frisia's shoulder. After bidding farewell to Frisia, Beerus and the Great Kai left the planet and returned to the Beerus planet. Granola was slightly stunned and found that Frisia did not come back with him. But Beerus certainly couldn't explain this to Granola. The Great Kai stepped forward and briefly told Granola about Frisia. Is Frisia stronger than me? This is impossible. Granola's face changed again and again, and he frowned and said, I made a wish to become the first in the universe through the dragon. The dragon said that besides the gods, I should be the most powerful human in this universe. Does that mean that Frisia has become a god? No, maybe because Frisia is in another dimension, it doesn't count. The Great Kai explained. While talking here, the scene flashed. I saw that the King of the Worlds had brought Whis, Curd, Gula, and Ice back from the underworld. Whis resurrected the 3 of them. As for the matter of the power tournament, the King of the Worlds had also told Curd and the others. Aren't you Cyril? Gula was slightly startled, squinting at Granola. Are such guys also coming to participate in the power tournament? Are you Frisia's people? Granola quickly reacted and stared at Gula and others coldly. You guys go play over there, but remember, don't hurt anyone. Beerus told them. Yes, Lord Beerus. Curd saluted hurriedly. Gula and Ice also bowed. Then, Gula stepped forward and put his arm around Granola's shoulders, smiling and saying, Cyril, let's go play over there? I'm happy to accompany you. Granola nodded. The 4 of them walked away. The next moment, only wailing was heard from afar. Granola beat Curd, Gula, and Ice severely, and he let out a breath of anger. However, Granola did not hurt their lives, because he knew clearly that Lord Beerus' words carried weight. Counting it this way, plus Goku and others from another time and space, we are still short of 1 person. King Kai counted the number of people with his fingers and said to Beerus. Master Beerus should have found that person, right? Whis said with a smile. Yes, I have found that person. I hope he won't let me down. Beerus smiled proudly. Found? Who is it? King Kai was stunned. You will know when the time comes. Beerus did not say it clearly. He looked in the direction of Granola and others and said thoughtfully, but the most important thing at the moment is to let Curd and the other 3 go to the other dimension to practice well. Okay, then I will take them there now. King Kai nodded. Then, King Kai took Curd, Gula, and Ice and found them a different dimension, letting them practice well in it. After King Kai came back, Beerus ordered him to go to another time and space to pull people. King Kai took the order, turned the time and space ring, and prepared to go to GT time and space. Kai, when you find the Gaku of that time and space, just tell them about the tournament of power. Don't tell them that if they lose, the universe will be wiped out. Beerus told Kai. Don't tell them the truth? Kai looked up at Beerus. If you tell them, they may not come. Beerus replied. That's true. Kai nodded and asked, but then again, if we really lose, will the Gaku of that time and space be wiped out? That's right, Lord Kai. Whis sighed slightly and replied, after all, the people of their time and space came to our universe and represent the humans of our universe, so if they lose the game, the 4 of them will be wiped out by Lord Omni. This is not appropriate, isn't it? A bit tricky to call them over? Kai couldn't bear it. Stop bragging. Stop talking nonsense. Our universe will win. Beerus grabbed the collar of King Kai and shouted angrily, go. If you don't call them, our universe won't even have enough people. Go. Great King Kai nodded at King Kai. Yes, Master. King Kai saw that his teacher had agreed, so he didn't say anything more and immediately turned the time and space ring and disappeared. Then, King Kai found Sun Wukong and others in another time and space, and gathered Sun Wukong, Vegeta, Broly and OOB together, and told them about the power conference. However, King Kai did not tell Sun Wukong and others that they would be wiped out if they lost. He fooled them first. Power conference? Sun Wukong was startled. I didn't expect that such a conference would be held in your time and space. Vegeta listened silently without expressing his opinion, but the meaning in his eyes was a bit of expectation. In the last match with Universe 6, Vegeta lost miserably. This time, Vegeta will find a way no matter what. Win it back. Vegeta, how about we join? Sun Wukong turned his head and asked Vegeta. Of course I want to join. Vegeta snorted, I want to defeat you in another time and space. Oop, Broly, what about you two, is there any problem? Sun Wukong asked Broly and Noob again. Broly nodded, indicating that there was no problem. I will listen to Teacher Wukong. Oob smiled. Then, you can follow me to our time and space now. King Kai breathed a sigh of relief. Sun Wukong and the others were still relatively easy to fool. Then, King Kai took Sun Wukong and the other 4 back to the time and space where Luo Tian was. Another day passed. 7th Universe, Cyril Star. Elec and the others learned the location of the 2 Dragon Balls on this planet through the sage Zuno. It is worth mentioning that there are only 2 Dragon Balls on Cyril Star, which are as big as glass marbles. After collecting all the Dragon Balls to fulfill the wish, there is no CD, and you can make a wish immediately after collecting all the Dragon Balls. After searching hard, Elec and his friends finally found 2 Dragon Balls and summoned the dragon. Then, Elec made a wish to make JAS the first in the universe. Of course, JAS also paid a certain number of years of life for this. In order to allow JAS to obtain more powerful energy, Elec only left him 1 year of life. After all, Beerus said that as long as he won, he would extend Granola's life. Chapter 445 The God-level players of the 7th universe. Elec, do you think Lord Beerus will really extend JAS life? He didn't promise us. Maggie asked with some concern. I believe that Lord Beerus will definitely extend JAS life if JAS performs well enough. Elec said confidently, and didn't Lord Kaishin say that if you can stay until the end, you can also get the Super Dragon Ball and realize any wish? At that time, JAS, you can make a wish to gain eternal life. JAS, work hard. You must achieve excellent results in the power tournament. Oil patted JAS on the shoulder. Got it. JAS nodded solemnly, but his eyes showed endless confidence. The contestants of the 7th universe have basically gathered. It can be said that the contestants of the 7th universe this time are all powerful humans like gods. The 6th universe, Earth. At this time, there is less than an hour left before the start of the power tournament. After Luo Tian came back, he also began to prepare for the contestants of the 6th universe with Xiangpa and Bardos. The contestants of the 6th universe have basically been decided, namely, Son Goku, Vegeta, Piccolo, Kale, Son Gohan, Hit, Caulifla, Son Goten, Trunks and Calories. Now, these contestants have gathered in the spacious courtyard of Bulma's house. Luo Tian, our universe will definitely win the final victory. I don't think Beerus and others can have any suitable candidates. Xiangpa smiled, and his smile became more and more brilliant. Don't be too happy, Lord Xiangpa. Bardos sighed, I think Lord Beerus will definitely find the right person. Luo Tian, do you want to see who they are looking for? Xiangpa said with a smile, I think Beerus may not even be able to gather enough people. It's good to take a look. Bardos agreed, but you should come and see it, Luo Tian. If I watch, I will be discovered by Whis. Your level is higher than both me and Whis, and it should be difficult for Whis to detect. Luo Tian thought about it, took out the scepter, and looked at the candidates for the 7th universe through the crystal ball on the scepter. In fact, Luo Tian also wanted to know what kind of people Beerus found to participate in the competition. The 7th universe should have basically decided on the candidates, right? The crystal ball passed through the universe, and the screen quickly switched to the 7th universe's realm of destruction. When he saw the contestants on the scene, Luo Tian couldn't help but be slightly stunned. Aren't those Granola and JAS? Are these two guys also coming to participate in the competition? Luo Tian then looked at Frisia again and found that his strength had greatly improved. Has Frisia reached the black gold form? Thinking about it, it is really possible. In addition to Frisia, Frisia's father, brother and son have all been resurrected and have become much stronger. The players of the 7th universe are really ridiculously strong. This lineup is probably close to the god-level team. In addition to the black gold Frisia and his team, Luo Tian also saw Son Goku and Vegeta from another time and space. Luo Tian has seen Son Goku and Vegeta from this time and space, and they should be from GT. Luo Tian took a simple glance and retracted his gaze. What's going on? Is Beerus having a headache because he hasn't gathered enough candidates? Xiangpa patted his fat belly and laughed excitedly. Luo Tian looked at Xiangpa meaningfully and sighed slightly. I was right. Poor Beerus. Xiangpa shook his head, unable to hide his melancholy. No matter what, Beerus is also Appa's brother. Now that his good brother might disappear, Xiangpa is still very sad. How is the overall strength of the 7th universe? Lord Luo Tian? Fu Hua asked. Very strong. Luo Tian sighed. Bardos was slightly stunned, blinking his beautiful big eyes, and looked at Luo Tian. Because Bardos felt that Luo Tian was definitely not joking. Luo Tian, stop joking. How strong can the 7th universe be? Xiangpa snorted, expressing his disbelief. The highest level player in the 7th universe is probably already at level 40. Luo Tian told the truth. Ya, what did you say? Xiangpa was stunned, and his voice became sharp. Oh my, level 40. This is the level that only trainee angels have. Bardos covered his mouth and smiled. In our universe, the highest Mr. Wukong seems to be only level 36. Yu Xiangpa felt as if he was choked by something, and couldn't say anything, looking at Bardos in astonishment. A difference of 4 levels? Isn't this too outrageous? How could the gap be so big? In addition, there is a 38th level and a 39th level player in the 7th universe. Luo Tian added calmly. Xiangpa trembled violently, as if petrified, with astonishment in his pupils. This our strongest Wukong is only 36th level? Fu Hua rubbed his eyes and wanted to cry. This gap is not a little bit. The opponent has a 38th level and a 39th level player. How can we fight? What should I do? What should I do? Xiangpa was completely at a loss, and he was so anxious that he turned back and forth on the land of the destroying god realm. Lord Xiangpa, what's wrong with you? Sun Wukong came over from a distance and asked curiously. Xiangpa took a deep look at Sun Wukong, and didn't know what to say for a while. What else can go wrong? Our universe is going to lose. Wukong, the lineup of the 7th universe is very strong this time, you must win. Fu Hua stepped forward and said to Sun Wukong. I will definitely try my best, but I don't know whether I can win in the end. Sun Wukong scratched his head and laughed. You must win. You must remember that if you lose, our entire 6th universe will cease to exist. Xiangpa said loudly, and his saliva sprayed Sun Wukong's face. Sun Wukong quickly wiped his face with his clothes. Xiangpa, how are you training Vegeta? Luo Tian asked Xiangpa. Vegeta, come here. Xiangpa waved to Vegeta in the distance. Vegeta quickly flew over and appeared beside Sun Wukong. Hurry up and show your transformation to Lord Luo Tian. Xiangpa ordered. Pop. Vegeta did not hesitate at all and immediately turned into Super Saiyan 4. Then, Vegeta planned to continue to transform, but was stopped by Luo Tian. No need to change anymore. Luo Tian waved his hand. Xiangpa? Didn't you want to see how I trained Vegeta? Chapter 446 Delicious Confidence. This game is very important to you. I will be the referee and make a fair judgment. Luo Tian smiled. Once the 6th universe loses the game, it will be wiped out by the Lord of all. You will all disappear, but Bardos and I will not. Xiangpa, Vegeta, everyone, I won't say anything extra. Come on. Luo Tian smiled and looked at the people present. Come on. Sun Wukong raised his fist and said excitedly. Humph, Kakarot, I will surpass you no matter what I say this time. Vegeta hummed. If that's the case, that would be great. Sun Wukong smiled. The 11th universe, destroying the divine world. The tournament of power? Interesting. Wai Mei snorted coldly, looking at the sky confidently. Our universe will definitely stay until the end. Yes, yes. Makarita nodded gently on the side. Kai King Shinkai did not express his opinion for the time being. Topo bowed respectfully. Hey, Topo, can the Pride team gather 10 people immediately? Wai Mei turned his head and asked Topo. They are all active in different places. I will go to gather them now. Topo bowed and responded. Be sure to call Jiren over. Wai Mei instructed. Yes. Topo saluted again and left the destroyer god realm on a spaceship. Is it okay to just rely on the Pride team? Kai King Shinkai was a little worried. Do you have any opinions? Kai King Shin? Wai Mei looked at Kai King Shin with a squint. Those people are a righteous team, but their way of thinking and survival philosophy are different. Will they gather together honestly? King Kai expressed his opinion. Wai Mei sighed deeply, picked up a ball and threw it into the air. Pop! The sphere exploded in the air, and the petals inside slowly fell down. So beautiful! Makarita laughed. King Kai looked at the falling petals, which were messed up in the wind. What's the point of doing these things? When did Lord Wai Mei I'd like this kind of thing? Pop! Wai Mei pinched a petal with his fingers, revealing a faint smile. In the end, only one person can win, right? Yes. Makarita nodded. As long as Jiren comes, there will be no problem. It doesn't matter who the others use. Wai Mei said confidently. Master Wai Mei, the contestant named Son Goku has realized the true ultimate self-definition. Is Jiren really okay? Kai sighed helplessly. Don't worry, the match between Son Goku and Jiren has been decided many years ago. Wai Mei smiled and said, do you think that if Son Goku improves, Jiren will stay where he is? Yes, Jiren has indeed made great progress. If we divide it by level, Mr. Son Goku is currently at level 36, then Jiren is at level 37. Makarita smiled. That's right. Wei Mei smiled. But will Jiren participate in the competition? Kai was relieved, but still a little worried. Yes, he has been waiting for this day for a long time. Wei Mei nodded confidently, and then murmured in a low voice, but Jiren is a bit too righteous. He won't even kill the evil. He has that kind of boring belief. Yes, yes. Makarita nodded gently, agreeing with Wei Mei's words. But there is one thing. He still has a wish that he wants to realize even if he betrays his belief. Wei Mei smiled. Is it because of Son Goku? Kai asked. Of course not, Son Goku's matter is just an episode. Wei Mei shook his head. Jiren's biggest belief is to revive his master Ji Qing. I see, so the excellent prize Super Dragon Ball can realize this wish. Kai murmured. That's it. Wei Mei smiled slightly. In other words, use the Super Dragon Ball to invite him to participate in the competition. Makarita added. Don't say it so harshly, Makarita. That was his own wish. I just provided him with this opportunity. With a rich and delicious smile, there is no other way. I can't count on Totopo. I'd better go there myself. King Kai, take me to find Jiren. Okay. Kai nodded. The 11th universe, the planet base. This is a planet with extremely rich waters. The planet has a light red sky, fresh air, and beautiful environment. However, the more beautiful the planet is, the more likely it is to give birth to strange monsters. At this moment, a monster similar to a big crab appeared in the city. The body of this crab is very huge, up to 50 meters long, and nearly 5 or 6 meters high. Humans are like little mice in front of them. It is worth mentioning that there are many small crabs under the body of the big crab. The humans in the city were scared and fled. Only the Pride Squad stayed to fight the big crab. Proud team, you really showed up, get ready to die. The big crab waved the claws in his hand, his voice was full of contempt. I haven't eaten crabs for a long time. I'll cook you and eat you today. Tispo snorted coldly. You rabbit, I'm going to kill you. Tispo shouted loudly. Captain, I think fried crabs are delicious. Especially when they are cut in half and fried, the taste is simply too fragrant. Quincy team member laughed. You still know how to eat. Tispo nodded thoughtfully. Is this guy male or female? Kaesler looked at the big crab and asked. Kaesler, you are going too far. If it is a female, do you still want to do that to the crab? Tispo shouted unhappily. I mean that female crabs are delicious. Kaesler wiped his sweat quietly and explained hurriedly. Obviously male ones are delicious. Quincy disagreed. The big crab was so angry that its claws kept opening and closing, wishing to kill these guys. Everyone, go ahead. Tispo ordered the members of the Pride team present, eat crabs after the fight. Oh. Tispo and other members of the Pride team no longer hesitated, rushed towards each other quickly, and launched a fierce attack on the crabs. The crabs also immediately took off into the air and started a fierce fight with the Pride team. Everyone, leave here quickly. There were also team members directing the residents in the city to leave. Some residents panicked and fell to the ground accidentally. Pa! A small crab suddenly appeared in front of this resident, waving its claws and showing a hideous smile. The resident was trembling with fear at the time. Chapter 447 Jiren's Conditions. Bang! At the critical moment, Tispo came quickly and kicked the crab away. Are you okay? Miss? Tispo asked with a smile. It's okay, thank you, thank you. The resident hurriedly thanked him. You actually gave my children. I can't forgive you, you rabbit. The big crab was furious, crawled towards Tispo quickly, and stabbed him with its claws. Swish! Just then, a stream of light suddenly flashed and hit the big crab's claws directly on. Snap! One of the crab's claws fell from its limb. Looking at the claws falling to the ground, the crab was startled and his face changed again and again. Tishpo immediately looked at the location where the energy beam was emitted, and said with a smile, "It turned out to be the captain. You are back? Tishpo, let me join the team too." Topo smiled slightly. "Captain, you are here at the right time, but by the way, where did you go before?" Tishpo asked curiously. "Lord Waimei wants to see me for something." Topo replied. "It turned out to be Lord God of Destruction." Tishpo nodded and didn't say much. "Where is Jiren? Isn't he here?" Topo asked again. "Jilin is on Tovalaise." Tishpo replied, "The Oshulet people have escaped from the galactic prison again. He said he will come over after solving the problem over there. It will probably take some time." "On such a distant planet?" Topo felt a headache. "Goo goo goo goo." Just then, the big crab suddenly raised its head and made a series of strange cries, which were extremely piercing. Then, the crab lowered its head and suddenly spurted out a large ball of white foam from its mouth. Suddenly, the foam covered the direction of the Pride team and others like a tsunami. These foams were like super glue, and soon they stuck to the people of the Pride team, making it difficult for them to move. The big crab was extremely huge, and the foam it spit out quickly spread throughout the city, wreaking havoc in the city. "You bastard!" Tishpo was furious, and gathered energy in his right hand, intending to give the crab a heavy blow. "Stop, Tishpo! If you launch an attack without authorization and lose your accuracy, you will implicate the citizens in the foam." Topo shouted loudly. "Damn it!" Tishpo was unwilling. "Goo goo 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 goo." The big crab showed a smug smile, with a face that deserved a beating. Swoosh! Suddenly, a ray of light flashed across the distant sky. The members of the Pride team were slightly stunned, with a little surprise on their faces. It seemed that Jiren had come. Jiren flew down from the air at a high speed, stepped directly on the head of the big crab, and led his body to sink into the ground below. Suddenly, the big crab was like an excavator, digging a big hole in the earth. A few seconds later, bang! Jiren took the big crab and soared into the sky from the distant sea. After flying to a certain height, an instrument on Jiren's wrist sprayed out a series of light circles, which quickly covered the big crab. The crab was soon trapped by the light circle, and its body shrank rapidly. In just a blink of an eye, the big crab became as big as a quail egg. Jiren stepped forward and grabbed the big crab the size of a quail egg and put it in his storage bag. At this time, Topo and Tishpo also got rid of the shackles of the bubble and flew over from a distance. "It's Jiren, you're here so fast." Tishpo sighed. "Didn't you go to Tovalaise?" Topo asked. "The problem of the Oshulet people has been solved, so I came here." Jiren answered simply. "You didn't fly here from Tovalaise?" Tishpo wiped his sweat and asked with a wry smile, "Didn't you use a spaceship?" "It's faster this way," Jiren said calmly. "You're still so good at flying." Tishpo was deeply moved. "Okay, let's gather first, I have something important to tell you." Topo ordered Tishpo. "Wait a minute." Jiren waved his hand, "The first thing to do is to save the citizens." "Topo, what you said seems to make sense." Jiren and others entered the city to rescue the citizens in the city. Topo took this opportunity to tell Jiren about the Tournament of Power, and of course, he also told him about Son Goku's strength. "The matter between Son Goku and I will be settled privately." Jiren pondered, "As for the Tournament of Power, I refuse to participate. Protecting the peace of the universe is what I want to do first." Topo was speechless at the time. "What are you talking about, Jiren? If we lose this Tournament of Power, the universe you want to protect will disappear immediately and be wiped out by the Lord of the Omni." Topo felt bad and hurriedly advised. "This is the fate of our universe. I don't want to let other universes disappear in order to protect my own universe. Jiren said indifferently. Do you think this is appropriate? Everything you have protected so far will disappear because of this. Toppo persuaded with a wry smile, is this the justice you believe in? Jiren was silent, a little undecided. As they were talking, Kai, the king of the worlds, had already appeared on the tall building with Vimide and Makarita. If you win, maybe you can realize your wish. Vimide's voice came from the tall building. Jiren, Toppo, and others immediately looked upstairs. Vimide? Toppo was slightly startled. The other members of the Pride team present were also surprised one by one. They didn't expect Vimide to come to the scene in person. What do you think? Join us. Vimide looked at Jiren with a bit of expectation in his eyes. Jiren was silent. Hey, Jiren, Vimide has personally asked you. Toppo said. Toppo said hurriedly. If anything goes wrong in the 11th universe, I will come back immediately. This is my condition. Jiren stated his condition with a cold expression. Got it. Toppo breathed a sigh of relief and nodded in agreement. Time passed little by little. The power tournament was getting closer and closer. Universe 6, Earth. Can we go to watch the game? Bulma asked with some anticipation. I want to see it too. Future Bulma also became interested. Okay, let's go together. Luo Tian did not object. Can we go together? Emily came to Bulma. Who else wants to go? I can take you with me. Luo Tian nodded. Chapter 448. The arena created and set by Luo Tian. Luo Tian said this, and ended up bringing a lot of spectators over. These spectators included Krillin, Master Roshi, number 21, Videl, Satan, Marin, number 17, number 18. It can be said that almost all family members came to join in the fun. After all, this is a game that concerns the fate of the universe. It is more appropriate to watch it on site. Even if it is erased, there will be a sense of ceremony. It's okay for you, a pig, to join in the fun, but you, a turtle, are going to watch the game? Xiangpa looked at Wolong and then at the turtle, and said unhappily. Neither Wolong nor the turtle said anything. Don't discriminate against animals, you are still a cat. Forget it, since you want to go, let's go together. Luo Tian did not object. Then, Luo Tian prepared a large flying cube and let everyone enter the cube. The flying cube took off and flew rapidly towards the direction of the world of nothingness. Not long after, Luo Tian brought many players and their families to the venue of the power conference. Then, Luo Tian arranged for the family members to sit in the stands. Sun Wukong took the players to the ring. Krillin, number 17, number 18, Master Roshi, and Tian Xinyan were all interested in the ring and asked Luo Tian if they could go to the ring to have a look. Of course. Luo Tian nodded. At this time, gods and contestants from several other universes had already flown over one after another. However, after seeing the audience on the stands of the 6th universe, the contestants and gods from these universes were all speechless. It was indeed the universe where Luo Tian was, and he actually brought so many family members here. Other universes did not bring family members, only the god of destruction and the king of the worlds, as well as the angels and the contestants came here. Krillin and others excitedly rushed to the ring and felt the long-lost ring. After all, a long time ago, Krillin and Master Roshi had experienced a martial arts tournament. Although number 17 and number 18 had not experienced such a thing, they were somewhat interested in such a ring. This is the ring for the competition. Sun Wukong said to the contestants. Goten, Trunks, and Calorie were running fast on the ring at that time, just like three carefree children, having fun. Wow, if we fall from here, we will fall out of the ring, right? Krillin squatted on the ground, leaning on the edge of the ring, looking down. Below was endless darkness, as terrifying as falling into the abyss. Humph, we can fly, as long as we are conscious, we won't fall. Vegeta said lightly. Yes, this is very beneficial to us. Gohan nodded. I'm afraid we can't fly. Bardoss smiled. Hey? Can't fly? Krillin was stunned. Why? Kame asked curiously. Goku and others also looked at Bardoss. Why not try to fly? Bardoss smiled. Okay. Goku nodded solemnly and immediately jumped into the sky. Then, Goku tried to fly, but he couldn't fly anyway. Pa! The next moment, Sun Wukong fell from the sky and landed on the ring. Everyone present was also stunned. Really, I can't fly. Sun Wukong nodded seriously. Calories, Sun Wushan and Trunks also tried it, but no matter how hard they tried, they couldn't fly up. I can't fly. Calories was a little unhappy. Humph, I don't want to participate in the competition, can I change people now? Shut up. Xiongpa shouted unhappily. Calories pouted. It is restricted here that anti-gravity cannot be performed. After all, according to the rules of the competition, the opponent is shot down, which is also a matter of course. Bardoss explained with a smile, and looked at Luo Tian, right? Luo Tian. Bardoss is right. Luo Tian nodded. Hey! Krillin suddenly took off and floated in the air. He scratched his head in confusion and said, Hey? Can't I fly? I can too. Tien Shinyan also flew to Krillin's side. Only the contestants can't fly. Bardoss sighed. Krillin and Tien Shinyan scratched their heads embarrassedly. What a pity, we are not contestants. The two fell from the air. Suddenly, a birdman was found flying in the sky. Is that guy also a spectator? Krillin pointed at the birdman in the sky. No, except for our universe, there are no spectators in the several universes that have come so far. Bardoss shook his head. Why can he fly? It's not fair. Calorie continued Krillin's words. Because he has wings, he is like a bird on earth. Bardoss explained, in addition, for the sake of fairness, the gravity is set to the value of the planet of birth for each contestant. It can be done to this extent, what a great technique. Son Gohan was surprised. These are all made by Luo Tian. Bardoss smiled. Humph, that is to say, cockroach, kale and cauliflower, are more than these earth hybrids and have to bear 10 times more gravity than them? Vegeta snorted. Trunks, Dad, what are you talking about? You said the word hybrid is ugly, okay? Son Goku? What do you mean? I don't understand. Humph, I've never heard of not being able to fly. Cauliflower was speechless. Sister, it's okay, we can't fly anyway. Kai replied. You guys, really, there's no need to panic about this kind of thing. Kame Sr. smiled, looking calm and composed. Grandpa, you're very calm. Cauliflower looked at Kame Sr. Of course, if you can't stay calm in any situation, you can't show your true strength. Kame Sr. said seriously. As expected of Master Mutant. I'm really ashamed of myself. Tien Shinyan couldn't help but sigh after hearing Master Mutant's words. No, Tien Shinyan, because Master Mutant can't fly at all. Krillin whispered to Tien Shinyan. Tien Shinyan was stunned and suddenly realized. What were you talking about, Krillin? Kame Sr.'s face darkened and he adjusted his sunglasses. No, I didn't say anything. Krillin waved his hands hurriedly. Besides, don't worry about whether we can fly or not, we are not participating in the competition. Stop talking useless words. Starting tomorrow, you will practice again from delivering milk. Master Kame ordered with a cold face. Krillin, okay, I'll fly to deliver milk. Krillin nodded. Master Kame, Hit, how is it? Are you confident? Sun Wukong looked back at Hit. Hit nodded gently. Let's cheer together. Sun Wukong stretched out his hand to hit. Chapter 449 I just mastered the ultimate freedom swoosh. At this moment, the players of the 11th universe also fell rapidly from a distance and appeared on the ring. Wimy-eyed and others immediately looked towards the 6th universe. Master Wimy-eyed, why are there so many players in the 6th universe? More than 10. Kai asked, a little puzzled. It was so delicious that I was speechless. There were indeed a lot of people in the 6th universe. What were they trying to do? Maybe the others were just spectators. Makarita smiled slightly, and it was easy to see. So they were just spectators. I thought they were all contestants. Kai smiled and said nothing more. Jiren immediately looked in the direction of the 6th universe and his eyes collided with Sun Wukong's. Hey, Jiren! Sun Wukong waved at Jiren. Jiren, is this guy so familiar? Jiren didn't want to answer Sun Wukong. Sun Wukong's feelings were completely different from before. When he first met Jiren, Sun Wukong felt that he was like an unreachable mountain. But now, Sun Wukong felt that this mountain seemed to be flyable. That guy is Jiren? Vegeta snorted, he does look unusual. Is he the Kaishin who is your opponent? Sun Wukong nodded, clapped his hands, and said with a smile, I'll go say hello. So, Sun Wukong walked straight towards the direction of the 11th universe. Vegeta was speechless. What is there to say hello to? Hello, Topo. Sun Wukong waved at Topo. Sun Wukong. Topo turned his head and glanced at Sun Wukong. Hello, Jiren, do you remember me? I'm Sun Wukong. Sun Wukong smiled. Jiren, hey, Jiren, we're finally going to decide the winner. Sun Wukong said with a smile. Get lost. I'm not interested in you. Jiren snorted, his face cold. Sun Wukong, don't say that, we agreed to fight a long time ago. Sun Wukong was not angry. Humph. Jiren didn't want to pay attention to him. Well, I'll go first, and we'll cheer together then. Sun Wukong waved his hand and returned to the 6th universe. It seems that they don't welcome you very much, Kakarot. Vegeta said gloatingly. Ha ha ha, yes, yes. Sun Wukong laughed. Swish. At this moment, the gods and contestants from the 7th universe also landed on the stage at a high speed. Sun Wukong and others immediately looked at the contestants from the 7th universe. Most of them were familiar faces. There were only 2 relatively unfamiliar faces that Sun Wukong and his friends didn't recognize. Gula? Curd? Vegeta frowned. That guy, is he Frisia's father? Piccolo asked. Yes, it's Curd. The other one is Frisia's brother Gula. Vegeta nodded. Hey? Gula? Sun Wukong suddenly slapped his forehead and remembered it all of a sudden. He quickly waved at Gula in the distance and shouted, Hey, Gula! Gula! Gula's face turned black and he immediately glared at Sun Wukong. I'm really sorry for that year. I think I beat you to death with one punch. I always owe you an apology. Sun Wukong walked up to Gula and said. Gula felt that he was not feeling well. He was so angry that he trembled. He wished he could press Sun Wukong to the ground and rub him hard. Kyud clenched his fists tightly, and he had the urge to tear Sun Wukong to pieces. Frisia's Sun Eyes is also looking for his enemy everywhere. It was that guy named Broly who tore me in half. I will never forgive you. Just wait. I'm stronger now. Vegeta and others were speechless. Kakarot, you are a typical murderer. No wonder Frisia hates you so much. Do you think you are talking humanely? You killed Gula with one punch back then. You don't need to bring it up again now. Son Goku. I will always remember the punch you gave me. I will pay you back today. Gula stared at Son Goku with a cold face, and his eyes were about to spit out flames. What are you talking about, big lizard? Calorie took over the conversation and turned on the taunting mode directly. Do you know that you can't kill people in this game? If you kill people maliciously, the whole team will be eliminated immediately. Yeah, what did you say? Gula's face changed again and again. Didn't Beerus tell you the rules of the game? Calorie said rudely. Anyway, my father is the god of destruction, so it's okay for me to call him Beerus directly, right? Who is this guy? Gula turned his head and asked Frisia beside him. I don't know him, but he looks like a Saiyan. Frisia snorted. Of course I'm a Saiyan, I'm Goku's younger brother Calorie. Calorie snorted. Son Goku's younger brother? Frisia was slightly startled, but it was a little unexpected. Frisia didn't expect that Son Goku actually had a younger brother. Hi, the me from another time and space, we meet again. GT Son Goku walked up and greeted Son Goku in a friendly manner. Hello, hello. Son Goku shook hands with himself in GT time and space. Vegeta felt nauseous. What's there to shake hands with between the two of you? I heard that you have become very strong? GT Son Goku asked with a smile. Ha ha ha, it's okay, I just mastered the ultimate freedom. Sun Wukong said modestly. Really? You must let me see it during the competition. GT Sun Wukong laughed. No problem. Sun Wukong nodded and agreed readily. Tisk, are you being modest or showing off? GT Vegeta couldn't stand it anymore. The two Sun Wukongs looked at GT Vegeta together. GT Vegeta rolled his eyes at the two of them, feeling more and more unhappy. What about you? The me in another time and space? Have you made a new breakthrough? Sun Wukong asked in a low voice. Hee hee. GT Sun Wukong smiled mysteriously. I knew it was like this. Sun Wukong's expression became more and more solemn. But I'm not the strongest one in our team. GT Sun Wukong whispered to Sun Wukong. Ah? Aren't you? Then who would it be? Sun Wukong was stunned, and his eyes immediately swept over the players of the 7th universe. A few seconds later, Sun Wukong fixed his eyes on Jia Si. His name is Jia Si, very strong. GT Sun Wukong sighed. Really? I don't know him. Sun Wukong shook his head. Chapter 450 Beerus, you leaked all the information. Who is he? Sun Wukong scratched his head, not knowing him at all. His name is Granola, also very strong. GT Sun Wukong explained. Really? I have never heard of him. Did they come from your time and space? Sun Wukong asked curiously, and looked at Granola and Jia Si in the distance. Not from our time and space. GT Sun Wukong shook his head. I didn't expect that there are such powerful people in the 7th universe of our time and space. I didn't meet them when I fought against Moro last time. Sun Wukong touched his chin and fell into deep thought. Actually, the two of them are GT Sun Wukong was just about to continue. Pa! Beerus stepped forward and slapped GT Goku aside. What are you doing, Lord Beerus? It hurts, okay? GT Goku was groaning in pain. Do you want to leak all the information about our universe players to your opponents? Beerus shouted angrily. I don't think it's a big deal. GT Goku looked indifferent. Beerus, you give I will stand over there and not talk to the people of the 6th universe. Beerus pointed to the distance and asked GT Sun Wukong to go further away. GT Sun Wukong had no choice but to walk to the distance in a sullen manner and stood there obediently. GT Vegeta glanced at GT Sun Wukong and said nothing. Sun Wukong immediately looked at GT Vegeta again, leaned close to him and whispered, So, Vegeta, what are the origins of these two people, do you know? Get lost, I don't know you. GT Vegeta snorted. Hey? Not familiar? Don't you recognize me? Sun Wukong was a little puzzled. GT Vegeta didn't want to answer him, so he turned around and left. In the distance, Jas also immediately noticed Sun Wukong, who appeared here. Bardock. Jia subconsciously thought that Sun Wukong was Bardock. After all, Sun Wukong and Bardock looked too similar. A long time ago, Bardock and Jia had a desperate battle on Cyril. Later, Bardock knocked Jia unconscious. That battle increased the area of Jia's inner shadow several times. Jasi couldn't help but recall the scene of the battle with Bardock that year. About 40 years ago, on Cyril, late at night. Deep in the dense forest, Bardock condensed energy in his hands and launched a fierce attack on Jia. This punch knocked Jia from the air to the ground at that time. After Jia's body landed, his feet rubbed the ground, leaving 2 long marks on the ground. So that's it. Having a tail means he is a Saiyan, and his fighting power is quite high. Jas said in a deep voice, I thought that all the people who came to this planet were low-level warriors, but it turns out that this is not the case. Jas said to himself, but saw Bardock swooping down from the air. Bardock punched and kicked Jas. Jas jumped back and forth to dodge, and after a distance from Bardock, he quickly raised his hand and condensed a red energy ball in his hand. Hey! Jas threw the energy disc in his hand at Bardock's body. Looking at the energy ball coming at a high speed, Bardock gritted his teeth and waved his hand hard to slap the energy ball away. Jas' eyes widened immediately, revealing a look of disbelief. Hey! Bardock threw an uppercut and hit Jas' abdomen on the spot. Jas' body flew high in the air. Bardock kicked hard and kicked Jas from the air into the jungle below. Boom! Accompanied by a loud bang, a roar came from the position where Jas was, raising a large cloud of dust. The big trees fell, and the birds and beasts scattered. Bardock gasped for breath, sweating on his face. The attack just now should have worked, right? Then, Bardock fell from the sky and landed next to a Namekian. This Namekian was named Monet. A long time ago, because of the climate of Namek, he and his companions landed on Cyril and got along very well with the Cyrillians. When the Saiyans attacked this planet, all Namekians except Monet were killed. Monet inherited the Dragon Ball of the Great Elder of this planet and also took on the task of protecting the surviving Granola. Since then, Monet and Granola have depended on each other and raised him up. Monet, take this opportunity to escape, the farther the better. Bardock instructed Monet. Got it. Monet nodded. I'll hold Jas back. Listen carefully, you must survive. Bardock looked heavy. As he was talking, Jas soared into the sky from the distant forest and leaped into the air. What? Bardock was slightly stunned, but he didn't expect that the other party was not injured. Swoosh! Jas flew towards this side quickly and landed opposite Bardock. How could you escape from my palm? Jas smiled coldly. Back then, Bardock rescued Monet, Granola, and his mother without authorization, and also learned about Siddha's conspiracy, which made the Siddha organization very angry and vowed to kill him. You are unharmed, are you a monster? Bardock said in a deep voice. Come on, let's make a quick decision, I can't lose Elok's trust here. Jas snorted coldly, Elok ordered me not to spend too much time. Snap! Jas said, and a meteor hammer condensed in his hand. Bardock, it's enough, we should accept our fate. Monet couldn't bear it after all, and said to Bardock earnestly, you should run away quickly, there is no need to lose your life here. What are you talking about? Bardock was slightly stunned and looked back at Monet. Let me make it clear that even if you escape by chance, the fate of the Saiyans will not last long. Jas smiled contemptuously. What do you mean? Bardock asked in confusion. Who knows, I heard Elok say so. Jas smiled. It's simply inexplicable. Bardock snorted, your fate will not last long. As he spoke, Bardock condensed an energy bomb in his right hand and threw it towards Jas. Jas jumped lightly, dodged the attack of the energy bomb, and flew too high in the sky, swinging a meteor hammer in the air, smashing down at Bardock. Bardock quickly crossed his arms to block his head. The meteor hammer instantly broke through Bardock's defense and hit his head. Bardock spurted blood from his mouth and screamed. Jas showed a smug smile.